It's week 2. Welcome back to the CCL pre-show. CCL game day here live on Bestie and Slot. We've got Borg. He's here.
Hey.
Borg is here. Yay.
Hello.
Love that.
I have
Love
nothing
that.
to say.
Nothing to say. That's totally fine. Well, it was an eventful week for sure, and a much more eventful weekend. Let's just get right into it. K-Bot, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. I woke up this morning with a bloody nose, so that was fun, and now my throat's bothering me. So I'm joining the 6th squad with
Same here.
a mug of tea right now. Other than that, I'm excited because the Wisconsin Esports Conference starts its competition this week. Woo!
Let's go,
So on
Wisconsin.
Wednesday night, I will be rooting on my Smash Brothers team, who will not be playing against Soren's team because Soren's team decided not to play this semester. So, FF, but all good. Yeah, looking forward to it, and looking forward to progressing one more week in Swiss in CCL.
Beautiful. Vaughn, looking beautiful as always. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing better than I was doing earlier, which is great. I was doing terribly earlier. If we had this talk show 2 days ago, I couldn't speak to you. So
Oh, no.
I'm glad that it's happening now.
Poor buddy.
And there was a lot of solid CCL stuff, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Beautiful. Borg is back. Volleyball has graced his presence here with us tonight. How are you feeling?
Yeah. A little tired, but not too bad. Gross because I didn't shower because you guys wouldn't let me have the time to shower because I just got home. So there's that. So yeah, that's about it. But I feel good. I mean, CCL's back. I feel honored to be back, invited onto the show. I somehow didn't get kicked off last year, so there we go. There's a good thing right there.
True.
So I'm just back to apply more. Whoa, my camera went crazy there. And more knowledge and more insight for you, the fans, because that's what we need here, right?
That is exactly what we need. Absolutely.
Especially from you.
Especially from Borg.
Especially from me.
Especially from Borg. And you know who else I want to hear from? Threesland Breezeland. How are you doing?
Doing all right, you know. Got to watch the Fairfield Stags take it home, as predicted, by the way. W for me and Vaughn for last week. Dropletto and Strages. My lord, that guy's a freaking beast. So yeah, shout out to the Stags.
Shout out,
Shout
Stag.
out Stags. Shout out Stags.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk more shop with y'all this week. Forward to it.
Dope.
Dropletto's playing.
Dropletto is playing. Dropletto is playing. Guys, breaking
Dropletto's
news.
playing and his team
Dropletto is
won.
playing. Yeah, no, his
How
team
did I
won.
mess this up?
Yes.
Why did no one tell me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Look, everybody on the desk
told
also.
Darth
Yeah,
Lord.
I mean, look at this. Like this shocking the world here. Fairfield, the Stags get 2-1 over St. Clair. There was a lot of people thinking that St. Clair would win it. Maybe Dropletto would get a few points, but no, it was not just Dropletto who took the name of the game here, took the MVP discussion. It's Strages. Ain't that right, K-Bot?
Strages, shout out, not only obviously passed the eye test on Wednesday night. I actually watched the game, folks. I actually had a spare
I saw
hour,
him in the
so I
chat.
watched CCL last week, which is
That was a
crazy.
good game to watch. It was a
good game to watch.
Yeah.
The thing I want to say, though, is that the stats don't lie either. Strages currently number 2 in CCL for redirects per 10 minutes with 109
There it is.
redirects every 10 minutes.
That's not redirect.
And that's normalized for the amount of time played, right? Those were closer matches, so you'd expect more redirects, but even averaged out for the time, Strages is number 2 in the league right now. So shout out to the Stags midfielder.
Shout out indeed. That was just a great game. It was sending ripples throughout North America, basically. Everyone was sort of like, oh my God, guys, check out this team. This is crazy. I mean, I was having a good time. All of social media was having a good time. Everyone was up in the Stags in the chat. So, I mean, that's some good news for this brand new Fairfield team who is brand new into the league, is already up 1-0 over a very, very highly touted team in the past. And I mean, look, they're just going to keep it rolling. They're going to keep it going. Now, that was pretty much the only upset this week. Everything else pretty much went according to plan. So, I don't think we need to talk much about what happened last week as much as that whole Fairfield winning situation, but we can start talking about week 2.
We also can start talking about how your week was, Dylan, because you didn't tell anybody.
Yes, I do need to tell people how my week was. The big game this past Sunday was something. I know half of y'all, actually 80% of y'all, do not watch traditional sports, but I was just not having a good time. That game sucked. That was awful. All of
So
my
exciting,
because
guys.
Sounds like a couple of Chiefs fans
I know
in the chat.
I know because I am a Patrick Mahomes fan.
I didn't even want
and
them to win. It was just boring.
It was boring. Yeah, I mean, all my friends were like getting ready to have a close game so they can rag on me, and they're just like, "Dude, we're so sorry. Like, this is buns." I'm like, "Yeah, this is buns. I'm not having a good time." And I made a 15-pound brisket, beautiful, moist and tender and yummy. And somebody found my picture on Twitter and retweeted it saying, "This is what white people eat," and it got like 160 likes. So that's crazy. Like,
You got
They're
ratio.
gonna say
I
like
got ratio.
160,000 likes.
Hey, but that's what you say, and proud to do it, baby. Pass the sauce. Like that's where you just double down.
No,
I didn't-
I
All
did
good.
say, I
Brisket
was
is
like,
fire.
Baby
All
Ray's.
good.
because like my plate, I will say it looked kind of rancid. I didn't have any sides on it. I didn't have time to make sides, so I
that's-
didn't have any sides.
that's called
I
a
don't
goofy
like
food
I don't
pick.
like
Yeah, I was about to
sauce.
say, that's a goofy
So it
pick.
did look like this guy just eats straight meat and vegetable, and that's about it. And that's crazy. And like
Oh, dear.
I was getting ragged in the comments. And I'm like, guys, I didn't have time to make sides. Can we not get? If you were at my place and I told you how to eat my brisket, that's not nice. That's not nice. No. But it's fine. It's okay. I had a great brisket. I've got leftovers. It's amazing. So, hey, I'm the winner here. I'm the winner at the end of the day. I will give you some. Everybody
Except
here,
for your team lost.
except for my team lost. Yeah, but
Badly.
but badly, very badly. But I'll just ship brisket to y'all. How about that? How does that sound? Does that sound good? Perfect. We can make that work.
Sure.
We can make that work. Now, we've got a segment coming up here. We're going to talk about here on the desk, and it's going to definitely get some discussion going. Fellas, what is your best all-time CCL lineup? You need one forward, one goalie, one midfielder, not in that order, of course, from the CCL. So you can't be like, this guy played in Bell's OS played in Collegiate Cup. No, Bell's did not play in the CCL. Yes, Vaughn.
Okay, two things. One, K-Watt's gonna coffee me, so we should all type.
No.
We should all DM SERP R3 now, and we're not allowed
Okay.
to change them when you
Okay.
hear another
Stop.
answer.
The
second Is for this roster,
Mhm.
it's just okay. Just so I clarify,
Yes,
because I'm on the Liquipedia.
correct.
The rules are they have to be like, for example, Collegiate Corestrike League Spring 2024. Like it has to be a person on a collegiate roster.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at when I'm like looking at the team list, I'm like, the only rule is they just have to be rostered. Do they have to be in the role they are in for their season though? Do you understand what I'm like?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like,
so
can I mix around?
you could kind of mix around. Like if they played a
Okay.
certain role during a certain season of CCL in the past 4 seasons, and then they transitioned to a
Okay.
different role, you can
So
put them there.
no.
if they play,
No.
if they were in a role
I mean-
on a college team, they can play a different role
If they were in
as
that role,
long
yes.
as they were a part of
Bro.
the roster squad.
Come on.
Okay, thank
Correct.
you.
Quad is just trying to. Okay.
Correct. I'm getting
both
some
go crazy.
responses in right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Actually,
Mine
I'm
is just
changing
gonna
mine.
be
I'm changing
top-
mine. I'm changing
top
mine.
I'm like, no, I like this
players
board.
in
That's
each
really
role
good.
that have
No,
performed
I'm
the
fixing
best
it. I'm fixing
in
it.
CCL.
Fixing it. Okay, I like that. I
That's-
like that.
That's what it should be.
Yes, and so yes, it has to be all CCL. It's all time in the CCL, so the last 4 seasons. We're gonna start with K-Bot because I got his answer, and I like what he had to write down here.
Okay. So, I interpreted the question as
Well,
putting
we just
down.
heard how it was interpreted.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see.
I interpreted the question as the roster that I believe would be most likely to succeed if you were to put the roster together and give them some time to gel. So, I am taking Soren in the goal box,
Okay.
Ugh. Okay.
Lakeland season 1 champion.
No,
Okay.
that's a fine. No, I'm just saying I like Soren's a W.
Miri Meg in the brawler slot. And the reason
Okay.
I say Miri Meg in the brawler slot is here's where it comes together. The linchpin, Kitsuda in the midfield.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
So you have a mid goalie who have familiarity playing in Dazzle, a mid brawler combo who has familiarity playing in CCL, and they can slam damage during the damage meta and be completely fine and probably stop everything. That's how I
Vaughn had
put
a
together
visceral reaction
the
to that.
roster.
He had to mute his mic so that he can.
I started coughing my brain. I'm still recovering because of Threezy's reaction. That's why. Threezy's reaction was really funny to me. Anyway.
Oh, look at this. Sorry. I just didn't bring that up.
Bro leaned in.
Is that copying, Vaughn? Is that copying?
No, God,
Definitely
no,
not.
God. I mean,
Definitely
you see
not.
what
I will
happens
say
when
no.
you
No.
didn't copy my answer, and that's what you got, bro. So
What?
I think my team is the strongest, so I should go last because my
Okay.
team is definitely the strongest.
Okay, I'm fine with
That
that.
can't be the worst ever.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't say that. I just said mine is definitely the strongest.
Okay, so Vaughn's
So
going
someone else,
last. All right.
Yeah.
Borg, what are you cooking here?
Hey, don't speak so soon, Bon. I got some heater picks. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You guys are ready for this. This is complete
boy.
Borg fashion here. You wouldn't expect anything else from me. First, we're going with a little bit of a underdog here. I mean, all three kind of some underdogs here, but we're
Okay.
gonna go with one of the Crandor specials here. GCU Dip Stink is my number one,
Okay.
Okay.
and then I
Nice.
completely forget the positions here. They'll flex. Don't worry about it. Then number two, we got my boy, my favorite of all time, Daniel Sodium. Come on, get out of here.
Daniel
We
Sodium.
got it.
Shout
That's
out
number
Daniel
two.
Sodium.
And then
Let's
to
go,
round
Daniel.
out the squad, me and
See
Threezy's
Daddy,
boy,
baby.
See Daddy Magic.
See
You already
Daddy
know.
Magic,
Come
let's
on, come on, baby.
And
Let's
then-
go.
Hold
and then
on.
Borg, you can't forget your sub,
And then
Malphite
I'm
lover.
the GM.
Malphite lover.
Malphite lover.
Yeah, I
So
was
hold
about
on.
to say,
So
where's
you've got.
Malphite lover?
Malphite lovers on the League of Legends team.
Yeah, low key,
Yes.
Kenneth. But if you had to have a sub, who would it be? You get one sub.
Oh,
That's a great
Any
question.
Zoro.
Okay. W vibes.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
while
like
you
that.
guys sweat with your picks, my team's
Okay.
gonna be vibing
So
in
you've
the
got
back.
Daniel
That's all I'm gonna say.
Sodium, Dip Stink, See Daddy Magic. That is your
Oh, yeah.
all-time GOAT
All
squad.
time.
Woo.
Goat
That's
Squad.
a crazy one.
All right.
I think I've referenced them more than any other player
I
of
will.
all time.
I will
They
applaud that,
you
actually.
probably have mentioned them on CCL Game Day more
Yeah.
than any other player
Yes.
you have mentioned on
Except
CCL
for
Game
Sword.
Day. And if-
Sword's
and if
name's in
that's-
your mouth every week.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that guy is not in my mouth. It's
Yeah.
simply just a thumbs down
The
for
thumbs
me.
down. Err.
He who shall not be named was not anywhere near my mouth. Actually, do I still want to do this bit, or is he suffering enough?
No. I think the bits run its course.
Yeah, I think the bits
All
is
right,
fine.
I'm,
now-
I'm
like-
gonna stop the bit now.
Loki
I mean,
Lakeland is in the like retirement phase. Like they're gracefully
Yeah.
I'll give it
aged
to
now.
this. If Lakeland start having a good season, I'll start hating again. But for now, we'll end the hate. Peace for everybody.
Oh,
All
thank
right.
God. World peace. It's finally
Amen.
been
World peace
achieved.
has been solved. You're welcome.
Amen,
We've solved
Father
it.
Borg.
Borg has solved it. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Father Borg. 3Z, I have a feeling. I have a feeling when I typed out this question what you would say, but I'm interested to hear you out. Let's see. What do you got?
Okay, look. Vaughn is gonna say street goalie. I can see it from a mile away. This guy's gonna say street goalie. That is cheating, man. That's cheating. Okay. I'm gonna go with CCL players that played in their positions and played the best all time, have the best resume, or
Cheating.
just like played the best. It's all
Cheating.
good. All good.
Not
All
cheating.
good. All good.
My roster, I could literally leave him off and still be better than yours, so it's fine.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right.
right.
It's true. Dylan's
All
seen
right.
it. He knows, or he
All
will
right.
see it, I should say. I didn't spoil all of it yet.
All right. I guess for goalie, the obvious pick is Soren. Then for midfield, it's tough. I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Katsuna, and then I'm gonna go with Snake. I'm gonna go with Snake.
None of y'all
third.
know
Would you like
ball.
that snake there?
None of y'all know ball.
Look, I thought 3Z was about to say, like, oh, the best three of all time. Water Fury, Gramella, 3Z,
Yeah,
Breezy.
yeah, the two times.
Yeah,
say
you
that.
should have said
I'm
that.
like, you know what? That's tippable. I'm cool with that. If you say that,
I mean,
mean,
back to
that's-
back, you can't even
that's-
argue with
can't
it.
argue
That's
with
the
it.
correct answer,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think.
Hey,
I'm like theory
All good.
crafting.
I have such a deep
Humble Breezy.
CCL bag. You just gotta wait.
We're gonna wait for him to.
No,
pull
no,
out,
Surf's
like,
gotta
a-
go. Surf's gotta
All
go.
right, yeah. So
Surf, you gotta say this. There's a player that has been skipped that is criminally skipped. You have to save the day here and name this player.
I hope I do because I've got so goalie,
Gurley
midfielder,
Grippers.
forward. Gurley Grippers is
Major
like
street.
second team for me,
That's
honestly.
sub number 2.
Like shout out
Yeah,
Gurley
he's right
Grippers.
there.
I love Gurley
You got a
right
full
Grippers.
there.
bench.
Full bench, yeah. We'll have a very stocked bench there, and so I've got Zorro as my starter goalie with Soren as the sub goalie, because those are
Okay.
both very, very good goalie picks. I think that they're both really, really good. So give me that goalie. Midfielder is Katsuna, only been in the league for one season and has been stellar. And then forward, my boy, my man, Threezy Breezy. I think Threezy is my
knows
pick for
ball.
forward there because I mean, he's the inventor of the Brawlers Get It Done movement, and he gets it done.
That's facts.
He and the
Let 'em know,
lads get it
Surplus.
done.
I don't know.
Everyone's
That's
doubting
fact.
me, but look, everybody he
All
gets
right.
it done.
Guess is in for Vaughn's picks. Bells
first of all,
he'll
Bells,
find the
he'll find Bells in there somehow.
No, you guys. Okay, let me first name my subs that were snubbed here, because
Goalie
my
Streak,
subs gap
midfielder
your.
Gravella.
They literally gap your starters.
Okay.
Okay, forward pair. This is not even my main roster. Leo, Leon, and Gret. Okay, show some respect.
Yeah, Muncher's a good pick.
Absolutely
Thinking about him.
lazy.
You know what? Valid.
The
Very valid.
players.
Very valid.
I made the Cougs be beast, and that was when he was still figuring out like over a year ago. Now he's like kicking me out of Hassel playoffs. So you guys are beast. I vote for that guy. Nassau midfield pro team like every season. No one ever votes for that guy. I don't know if he's even watching. I mean, that guy knows I respect him. So okay, and then Leo Lizard. You know the vibes. But
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
all right, here's the real team. All right, obviously I'm pairing OSPL winner. Canada man himself gets Streak back in the box. He's terrible at Brawler. Dementis is a failed experiment. Get his ass in the
Oh
box.
my God. Streak is
And
back.
pair
everybody.
him up with his OSPL winner, Snake, the most. Sorry, there's only one word to describe him: bastard brawler in the game. He has the most S tiers out of any player in the world. He is about to set a record. I think he's won 3 in a row now. He's the only. He's a beast. He didn't really have a great CCL career, but whatever. And then, if we remember when I asked for clarification to start, the direct question that was asked was, as long as they're on a roster, I checked. I'm on Liquipedia right now. That they're there. As long as they're on a roster, and they role swap
You better
and compete.
You better be you better not say some crazy stuff right now, Vaughn. I
And
swear.
and the answer was yes. So there's a name on a roster in CCL Season 1 that could fill the midfield position of this team beautifully. Give me, on the roster, Slew Coach Vaughn
No.
in the midfield.
No, you cannot say yourself. You're not. You never went to SLU. This is like this. No, you can't say that. You cannot say that.
Let's run it, boys. Let's run it, boys.
Oh my gosh. So you've got yourself at
CCL
midfield.
in-house infiltrator,
Snake
Firelight
and
V.
Streak. I mean, that is a goated squad, but I'm disqualifying you just because you put yourself in there. You've never played in the CCL. You've just coached. And as we all know,
Vaughn just wants
coaches
to win
don't
another
play.
one-off
It's a roll
tier.
swap. It's a roll swap. Okay, it's a roll swap.
It's not
Okay,
a
then
roll
Oh,
put
good.
put Gret in there.
All right, we'll
I,
put Gret in there. You know what? I'll put Muncher Gret right in there. All right, but
There you go.
imagine
my-
Vaughn in
that's my
CCL though. Can we just imagine that? Can we just
I'm
imagine
down.
that future, that alternate reality
Get
where
in
that
there.
happens?
Yeah, low-key.
Actually, tell you what, Vaughn, you're missing one critical detail. You're forgetting the part where it's a collegiate competition, so Snake doesn't care.
Oh, but he'd
Yeah.
care because I would be in charge of the team.
Oh, okay.
He would care
Yeah.
because you would be the coach.
He would care for me. He would care for me.
Right, okay.
I would ask
All right.
him really
All
nicely,
good.
and he's the only Demons Raw player that isn't fake, so he would actually he would do it.
Everybody, breaking news, guys. New university has been founded, the Firelight V Academy. It's gonna be
Oh,
great.
it's Sad Boys University.
Sad
Hello?
Boys Uni.
Strike second 101 or 202.
You're gonna be the only professor and the dean and the president and the chancellor all in one, and you're starting for the team. That's how
Can I
this
be your
works.
mascot?
Sounds good.
What's up, Borg?
All right.
Can I be your mascot?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think,
can.
I think that'd be Borg would
I
be a
can
great
hit the
mascot.
pose.
You can be you can wear you're like the Denver Nugget guy. You get paid like
I'll
$500,000.
do some crazy stuff.
What would you do as a mascot, Borg? How would that work? What would you do? Show me some moves.
Oh boy. Here we
Oh,
go.
he's taking off the glasses too.
Glasses are off.
Oh.
Oh!
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Okay.
I like that. Okay.
I did a flip.
Wait, you're forgetting the part where he has to somersault and then he's got to do the
I did
Do
a
a
flip.
somersault and then do the I
didn't
mean, he
wanna
did a
break
flip.
my neck on CCL game day,
Yo,
so I just
low
did it onto
key,
the bed.
this question was kind of fire. Can we do a one slightly similar, or are we strapped for time?
We're not
how-
strapped for time.
could
We can do something similar.
Could we like speed through the later segment and then I'm gonna do one off the dome here similar, more
Yeah.
CCL folks because we all just kind of picked Nassau players. Like let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like
we all
low
did.
key, we all did. pick
Except for
NASA players.
Borg. Okay, so how about this? CCL All-Star team of players who have not competed in a NASA
NASA.
Plus in NASA Plus
NASA Plus.
NASA
Okay.
as starters. Bestie and slot things. So like any CCL player below that is eligible. Now give me a squad. Might be a bit harder because you have to
Get
go
the
off your
thing.
gut. If you accidentally make a mistake and say like this player, and we'd be like, he was enough. Like it's not like a huge deal, but
Yeah.
I think it'd be cooler to shout out maybe like a CCL more specific one.
Yeah.
Or if that's tough, maybe a player that since we've been doing this for a while, you remember at the beginning to now, like the improvement arc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like a good one
I'll
for
go.
me would. Oh yeah, you can go
I'll go
I got
off
one
the
too.
dome.
off the dome. That's how I like it.
Off the dome.
Okay.
Goalie, Spartan.
Yes. Agreed.
Is this like all time,
midfielder.
like your all-star thing?
These are the first names that came to my head. So
Okay.
I think it's fair enough to like
Yeah.
ones who stood out to me. I should have written this down because now I forget. Man. Okay.
So you have Spartan in there.
I had
Spartan
Spartan.
box. Great choice.
Spartan in
Mm-hmm.
the box. Who was I thinking brawler? I think I was thinking mid-mouse, midfield.
Okay.
Oh,
That's a name right
Ooh.
there. That's good.
that's a good.
Which
That
I
guy's a
think's a good
beast.
That's a pull.
He got so much better. That guy got really good actually.
And then I need a brawler. You know what? I'll say it, and it'll feed into predictions later. Give me Zudicor.
Zunicore.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Pull that one out.
That does feed into Preds later. That is true. That is true. I like that. That's a good little roster there. Vaughn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm also kind of going off the dome here. Oh shit! I liked yours so much that I forgot mine. Oh god.
Oh, how the
Um,
turns have tabled, Vaught.
Yeah, how the turns have tabled is right.
I can go if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want
go
to
for it.
go? So I'm just
Go
trying to
for it.
remember the ones
Go
I
for it,
wanted to
Well, I
say.
could do the same picks. I'll do something new just to spice things up for you guys.
He's going
this
to put in
was
his sub
half-
players.
This was off the dome, and then it's technically not now because now I have to check to make sure I'm doing the
No,
roles
I got
correctly.
you. Just say them and I'll let you know.
So, well, two of them I know are good. Wet Zero Weston,
Oh
in
yeah,
the
those
net.
are
Okay.
go.
Peanut Enjoyer in the
Oh.
midfield. What? What's wrong with Peanut Enjoyer?
Nothing. I'm a fan. They're just
The craziest Estelle you've ever seen in your life. And
Well,
then
except for
at the
Wicked Bob.
Big Daddy Brawler position. I haven't figured that out yet.
okay.
Off the dome. Off
Wait,
the dome.
hold.
Okay.
Hold.
Holding.
It is See, I had one, and then I realized they played in NASA, so I had to pick a new one. That's why.
Was it Coin? Coin played in NASA.
It was Vega.
Oh yeah, it is Vega. did
Vega
play
played
it.
in NASA.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, so did Spartan, but it's okay. Spartan was just in playoffs.
Oh,
Was he a starter?
is.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. I
Oh
kinda
yeah.
was
Wait, we
assuming
can't
here.
say Spartan.
Okay.
I forgot he just was.
Man.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, I'm
Yep,
just gonna
okay.
go with. Let's do. How about
So you have to
a
change
saucy
up
little Zero? How about Zero?
There you
Zero.
go.
I like Zero.
Okay.
Zero's a good pick. There you go.
All right,
There's my
I've
three
I've got a couple.
beasts.
I think for midfield, hasn't played NASA Plus. I'm sorry. That one was intentional.
No.
Sorry, fellas. This one is
Sorry,
fine. I'm like
Syntax.
sick. That one is. We can
Sorry,
forgive me today.
Syntax.
Sorry. Whatever. Okay. I'll say something different than Eminent Mouse, because Eminent Mouse is such a beast. I will actually say Wiggly Wobbly. That guy was a CCL legend. Okay, and low key for the brawler, they've never been the same without him. Blue Blazing.
Yeah,
Give me Blue Blazing.
Blue Blazing is back, baby.
That guy.
he is
Look,
back.
say all you
He's back.
want. He frog marched that team to grands
That's
in the
true.
first season.
He did.
Absolutely
He did.
put him on his back and just slept him there past the slew team. And then, yeah. Let's be honest. We can put him. We can say it. And then goalie. Goalie, there's a couple. It's
Was
like
Water
hard to decide
Fury
on.
on a roster? On an NASA roster?
Yeah, but he doesn't really. Water Fury? Did you say Water Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he doesn't count.
Okay.
He's too NASA Soul. He was a starter at one point. He's sub NASA. It's not like the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Brawler. The other one I was gonna say was Nikki Middleton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Nikki.
mine.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
three Z's. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Absolutely.
yoinked it like a noob. Wow, the goalie one is kind of hard though. It's like hard to decide which one I want to say. Huh.
Beepo.
That's tough.
Come on, give
Beepo.
Beepo some love.
Good Beepo, yeah. I would say Beepo. Beepo's a good one to add there.
You can say Beepo. Maybe I say like. Oh, that's tough.
It is tough.
Maybe I'll pass off to.
I've got
wow,
my
there's,
three.
like-
I've got my three.
You wanna
Breeze has
go?
got it.
Yeah,
Breeze,
you
do
wanna
have your
go?
three? Are you ready?
Kind of. You can go though.
All right.
sir.
Please correct me if I'm wrong with any of these. By the way, I am noob
Yeah.
incarnate. I want Maple as my goalie. Maple Leaf from UT Austin, UT Nerdboom. Windoge on midfielder. I think that would be pretty cool. And then Sweatproof in the forward.
Okay.
Sweatproof
I
in the
like
forward
it.
position. Because Sweatproof is like pro league and I don't think has ever been on a NASA roster. Is like a god tier gamer and is just
Man, I
not.
can't say
up
Zenith
there.
because he was in NASA West. That's so.
Yeah,
tough.
I know. I
Yes,
know.
yes.
I-
That's not Nassel.
yeah.
That's not
Oh
Nassel.
my
Don't
gosh.
worry about it.
That's not Nassel. Don't you dare say
Yeah,
that.
it's hey, it's at least NASA.
was
I have
nasty.
my goalie. Unless you want to go 3-8.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, I was deciding between. I'm just saying the two because I couldn't figure out which one I wanted. I was deciding between Sir Red Panda and Hoishi. That's my
Yeah, I
goalie.
was thinking Hoishi also.
Hoishi and Sir Red Panda.
Okay.
That is a name I've not heard in a while.
Yeah,
Just
a little bit
throwing
of
it back right now.
a little bit of a deep cut. Both role
Huge
swapped
deep cut.
players. Both originally midfielders that I had some respect for. Not that I lost it. Made it sound weird there, but like I remember running into them when they were Juno and Estelle midfield one tricks way back in the day. Then they put the fries
I
in
didn't
the
know
bag
Red
on
Panda
Atlas.
was a midfield one trick. That's crazy.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I think he was always an Atlas player. And he
Yeah.
had like dabbled in Estelle.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty sure.
that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, Hoishi was the Juno player. All right, anyway,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, for Brawler, I was gonna go Nikki. He's
Yeah.
such a beast. And then midfield, I was gonna do Hoishi.
Oh, you would roll swap because Hoishi played goalie in CCL.
Yeah, I was gonna roll swap him.
Okay. Yeah, that
Or
guy's a
honestly,
beast.
I was down to just go Mr. Flambeau as well. Talk about most improved. That guy's improved a lot.
Yes.
Both
God
both him-
forbid. CCL season 1 to now.
Yes,
both
Flambeau,
him
Wet.
and Mickey have
You guys
improved
are-
a
Oh my
lot.
gosh.
Guy's a beast now.
And the funny thing about Wet Zero, about Weston, is that he at the Black and Gold Blitz, I've told this story before. At the Black and Gold Blitz, he realized he had VSync on. So as soon as he turned that off, he just became a beast.
What does that do?
That like
It's-
it like
I don't
makes
even
your
know.
it makes your frame rate 60 and it doesn't make it any higher than
Fringes out
that.
your it caps your
Yeah.
frame rate at your monitors.
Yes.
Capture it.
So instead
Oh,
of
I
it
see.
being
So
like
you don't
like
get free
200, it is just 60 FPS. And so when he was
I've seen
playing, I
those.
think either Coin or Trademark or somebody else there just around them was like, "Do you have VSync on?" He checked the settings. He's like, "Yeah, I always have it on." He's like, "Turn it off." And then boom, he just became a beast. All those frames, just frames win games. Shout out NVIDIA. You know? Absolutely. Anything else to add, fellas?
And then for
Has
goalie,
Balix
Oh, yes,
played
Thursday.
NASA?
oh,
Did
No, I don't
Baylor
think
play
so.
now?
No.
Baylor.
Yeah,
I'll
you could
just
say
throw
Baylix.
Balix on there. I'll just
facts.
throw
There's a lot of
Baylix on
goalies.
there.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Mhm.
we can go for Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, we can go for Weston, and then we can also go for Equal Equations, who I think is a beast. But yeah, there's a lot of pretty good goalies.
I agree.
On here, Maple, Beatbo.
Mhm.
So Red Panda's a good pull as well.
Very good poll. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else to add? Any other folks that we want to shout out before we get into Preds? No? Perfect.
I think
Perfect.
we've covered a lot.
That was a really good segment, guys. I really enjoyed
A lot
that.
of people got their flowers.
Yes, tons of people got their flowers. Hopefully they'll get their flowers at the end of the season
You're
too.
welcome, Daniel Sodium.
We do notice you. Keep playing. We
Keep
do
going.
notice you.
Keep going. We see you in
Yeah.
we see you on the queues. We see you on the streams. We see you playing your hearts out. So keep it up. Now, predictions for week 2, and we're gonna throw up the week 1 Preds right here. Syntix, if you can do that, that'd be amazing. And oh god, the horror. I don't think anybody's perfect after week 1.
What happened?
You're still
I
perfect
mean-
to me.
Thank you, Borg. Thank you, Borg. There was there's some Preds that kind of did not end up where they were supposed to, and it looks like nobody is perfect now. One of those was an FF, so we can swipe that off the
Okay,
record.
that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Yeah,
That doesn't
that's
count.
Okay. Well,
pretty sure without the forfeits, Vaughn and
Correct.
Breezy are.
correct.
There
I
we
believe
go.
Vaughn and
Yeah.
Breezy are
That is
perfect. That is
correct.
true.
That is
That is
correct.
true.
Go
Yes, because we
Stags,
did broke-
baby. Go
Go,
Stags.
go
Stags.
Stags. Go Stags.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
Stag update.
So Vaughn and 3Z, I believe, are still in the running for perfection, whereas me, K-Bot, and Borg are unfortunately imperfect. But that just makes us perfect, because imperfections are sexy. You know, you feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My nose is
Yeah.
huge.
I
I
think
know
so.
what you mean.
Don't say that, Borg. Anyway.
Nothing wrong with the big schnoz.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nothing wrong with that. The first match we're talking about here, CU Boulder Strikers versus NJIT, a team with a lot of promise versus the best team in the league. Let's make this quick, gentlemen.
I've got NJIT. They're still the strongest roster. By the way, currently number 1 and number 2 highest damage per 10 minutes. If you took that out to 20 minutes, that would mean wait, I actually forget now who's first and who's second. I don't know. One of them is 40,000 out of 20 minutes, and the other one of them is 34,000 out of 20 minutes. So those are some numbers,
Yeah,
especially
Mary
for
Meg's
a
first.
duo.
Katsuna's second.
Miri Meg's first. Okay, yeah. Miri Meg's first. Those are some numbers. Yes, it was versus Utulsa last week. I don't really care. Also, Miri Meg 16 KOs in game 2 versus Utulsa last week. So they're on point. Weston, you got some forwards coming for you. I've got the Highlanders. They'll take it here. I will say though, so Storm, I better start seeing you in the queues. Otherwise, this team might have the chance to fall apart. Give me NJIT this week.
Vaughn.
I'll also NJIT, and just wanted to shout out the performance of both Miri Meg and Katsuna, not in CCL, but in their performances in this past weekend. Miri Meg's currently sitting in NASA Winners Finals after he had a very intense series versus the Rose Petals. And Katsuna, even if he was eliminated at 5th, 6th, had a wonderful showing versus Showtime, taking them to pretty much last set of last game.
That was a heater
And
series.
also, yeah, no, that Showtime EKC series was crazy. I thought Showtime was gonna lose. Well, I was
Mhm.
stunned. And then he had a great series again versus Bozo Bunch. Hit some really, really great Luna games. I cannot see this team losing with those two playing like that. I just cannot see it. I mean, obviously, there's 3 people in Storms on that team too, but I was obviously watching all the NASA and NASA games. So I am a Boulder head, as we know, but I mean, I messaged Katsuna literally mid-playoffs, like, oh, wow, you are playing so well. Really happy to see it. And his name is Katsuna again, so he's doctor just through the roof. So it's a 2-0.
It's 2-0 Borg.
I was gonna say that as well. I mean, thank God we do not have to say Ayuko Kita anymore. Holy
We never
moly.
did.
Save the desk. Save
Let's
the
be
desk.
clear, we never
Save
did.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah, but
Save
now we
the
don't have
desk.
to like pretend we need to.
Now
You know?
casters don't have to say
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
Real
That's
thing.
it.
Yeah, real.
So as many of you know, I had a little experiment in week 1. Tried to go for 100% win rate. That ended pretty quick. So congratulations to those who bet on me losing the 100% win rate in week 1.
In week 1.
I think there were
there's
3
two of
people,
you-
2 or 3 people,
that
yeah.
bet. So congratulations to those. I don't think you get anything except for
Pick 'em points.
Pick 'em points.
zero
Yeah.
They get
respect
pick
for
'em
me
points.
for not believing in me. So
No.
thank you very much for that.
I picked you in week
I'm-
3. I picked you battling out week 3, by the way.
Yeah.
I had a lot more faith.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. At the end of the day, basically all I'm trying to say is we're going for the 50% yet again. We're pivoting. I'm not a 86% Andy here. I'm not trying to go for any of that craziness. We're getting to the 50%, and with that, I'm going with my boys. See you, Boulder.
Yes.
See you.
See
That's opposite,
you.
whatever.
That's backwards.
We're going with
Yeah.
See you, Boulder here.
good.
For this game. Big fan of that squad. It's going to be a tough road against NJIT, but I believe in them.
All right, 3Z. Are you joining Borg, or are you just going to be on the NJIT train?
Keeping it 100. It's NGIT in 2. The Meg is going to be devouring teams every week in
Meg.
CCL, just like he got it done against the Rose Petals in NASA yesterday. Yeah, playing like a beast. Katsuna as well. Like Vaughn said, play like a beast in playoffs. Didn't get the dub, but it's his for the taking in CCL this season for sure.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you here, 3Z. I mean, this is NJIT's season to lose. Basically, they have the kind of the VIP fast pass into the playoffs. As long as they stay consistent and they keep it up, they try to avoid these trap games against teams like CU Boulder, who could sneak up on them. We did see that last season where OSU Black came in and defeated NJIT, I think week 3 or 4.
Yep.
So, I mean, as long as they stay on it and they keep playing the game and they keep going, we could see a second undefeated season from this team. So give me NJIT in this one that's 2-0. But I want to give my flowers to the CU Boulder Strikers. I think they're making playoffs either way as well. They're a very, very, very good team. Next up, we've got UT Dallas Esports. The Blue Blazing returns versus the UCF Rods. What are we thinking, guys?
I am assuming the starting rosters that I see on the hub sheet, which has been put together for us, which includes Altair Poke joining Blue Blazing and Asianator. I am going to rate the active 1 diamond and 2 plats over the active 1 diamond and 2 inactive plats. Give me the UTD roster. Check the Clarion charts.
Vaughn.
I'm not only checking the Clarion charts, I'm checking the hub. Who did you say? What was that guy's name? Sorry.
Altair Poke.
Altair Poke. We've got Asianator, Blue Blazing, Altair Poke on this
Challenger?
UT Dallas team.
What?
Uh,
How have I never seen this?
Blue under the
guy?
radar.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
Blown
this
under
is
the radar.
flat. Peak Chally.
Alt-
Looks
there's the
like
Qs and
barely
search for 'em.
peak Chally in season 1. August 22nd, 2023.
Who are you? This guy. Oh my.
Oh, no.
Rasmus Gaming. Okay, well, I'm interested to see that. So I learned my lesson about this UCF Rods team. That's the Nats 18 roster, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I swear every time I was like, yeah, that team's probably not going to win this week. Then they won. I am going to go out on a limb and say, even though they're not, oh man, they really are not playing the game.
They are really not playing the game. And they're
But,
not
like,
even
what
in
if-
in-house queues, Vaughn. They're not in
Oh,
in-house
okay.
Yeah,
queues.
come on, guys.
Okay,
They're
then,
not in in-house queues. I looked at those too.
I learned from NASA this season, if you're not playing the game at all, it makes your games a lot harder during the regular season. So I'll give it to UT Dallas. I know Asian and Blue Blazing have been on the grind.
Yes.
So
We've been playing a
I'll
lot.
give them the edge there too. I'll say it's a 2-out and move on for now. But the UCF Rods team was really good last season, so I would not be
But
surprised.
it only works if they keep playing the game.
I agree. Hey,
They just need to keep playing.
I know. Okay, I know. Let's be clear. I know
I
exactly
know.
what that's like. So
200 games of solo queue or what?
I have. I mean, I got to that number. So anyway.
Oh, you did?
Borg-
Did your brawler?
Oh, you don't know Bell's lore. He gets that like it's nobody's business.
I know he does.
Sleep.
Yeah. But yeah, 2-0 for Dallas. What do you think, Borg?
I'm thinking it's a Peewis sweep over here in the UCF clubhouse. Big fan that roster. Big fan of the program in general. Coming in CCL this year with 2 loaded rosters, by the way, absolute studs on both these squads. So I'm gonna be a big UCF fan this year. I'm feeling it. Let's start us off with a win. How about that?
All right, so that's a Rod's vote there for Borg.
Yeah, it's Rods here.
Yes, have to check that.
Yeah.
Breezy.
Hey, shout out to the Rods. Those guys are pretty good, but I'm going with UTD here. We'll have to see how the rookie performs. Luckily, they've got 2 veterans to help him out. We'll see if Blue Blazing can restore his former glory.
Yeah.
And Asianator is a beast.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to concur with you, Threezy, here because, yeah, they are a beast. And also, something that nobody is actually mentioned, UCF Rods didn't play last week. This is their first game in the CCL. They got the bye last week.
So they haven't played. Two of them haven't played solo
They
queue.
haven't played solo
They
queue.
haven't played in-houses.
Nope.
They didn't play week 1.
Correct.
Okay.
This is their first
Y'all
week.
got this.
This is their first week.
Hold the
so
debut.
It's
alright?
the debut.
Storm the keep, baby.
Storm the keep.
Storm the
Who's
keep.
next? You know, you got So I'm saying UT Dallas, mainly because UCF Rods. I haven't seen how they would play this season yet, and also because UT Dallas has Asianator Blue Blazing, and then Altair is probably just gonna tear it up. I'll tear it up. In the queues and on the field. So give me UT Dallas in this one. Staying in the state of Texas here, Texas bias alarms blare. Texas A&M Maroon versus Ole Miss Omega Strikers, another SEC matchup. As you may have recalled, Ole Miss played Auburn last week. Now we've got Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. How are we thinking about the South, guys? And there goes 3Z Breezy. Oh my gosh, what? 3Z, are you okay?
My camera was
Oh,
bugged or something.
you're okay. You're okay. Show must go on. K-Bot, what do you think?
Dylan, don't think you're slick here. I know what you're doing. You're putting 3 Texas favorite matches back to back to back in the predictions just to make us feel something for Texas. Give me Texas A&M Maroon.
There you
I
go.
won't be a hater today. They'll take this. Fine. All right. But hey, I see what you're doing. You're controlling the narrative. Mr. Scriptwriter over here.
I'm here to create a narrative.
Born and raised in the state of Texas.
Correct. No,
Yeah,
not born.
the
but
narrative
raised,
is
yes.
not
Born,
correct.
actually not born and raised in the state of Texas. I live here now.
Well,
I'm from Albuquerque. I'm from New Mexico.
might as well be. Pretty sure whatever you drink
It's
in
all
Texas,
West Texas.
Tech goes into your blood.
Yeah, it's all West
So-
Texas anyway, so I get it. Thank you, K-Bot. Vaughn.
Presents for Twitch chat. Twitch chat, fill in the blank. A blank's milk does not curdle. There's a little chat
say it.
interaction for everyone. I'll say that one more time.
I feel like I should
A
know this.
Blank's milk does not curdle.
I should know
Trust me,
this
Twitch
as
chat.
a
Don't Google
current
it
Wisconsin
or deep
Wisconsinite.
seek it or trust me,
But
K-Bot.
I don't know.
You should probably not know this as a Wisconsinite.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I would
Why are
be
we talking about
like-
milk?
Hey, yeah, don't worry
think I
about it.
know
It's
this.
for
Don't
Twitch
worry about it.
chat.
It's for
So
Twitch
don't
chat.
cheat.
Oh,
If you
okay.
don't know, I'll tell you at the end, guys. So watch the whole show.
Watch the
Yeah.
show.
Don't cheat. If you type it, you cheated. I don't care. If you're right. Or you are a Snapple enjoyer like myself and Mystic. So give me Tamu Maroon next.
Borg.
I think this is kind of a freebie here. I mean, you see the roster of Zack Attacker, Hero of Milkshakes, and the man himself, C Daddy Magic. How can you not bet on them?
Mhm.
I mean, you guys are ridiculous, by the way. You guys are absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss. I'm feeling good
Let's
today.
go Land Sharks.
I think the Land Sharks are gonna be tearing it up. C Daddy does not lose, and even
They
if
have
he
the
loses,
Jeff-
he loses in style. So
They have
let's
the
just
Jeff
get that
buff,
straight.
right?
They have
I
the
don't know what
Jeff
you're
buff.
talking
They do
about.
have the Jeff buff.
Marvel
I have
Rivals
no
is
clue
taking
what you're
over
talking about.
Collegiate Esports. Mark my words.
Is it?
Marvel
song,
Rivals is next up.
Is there a collegiate league? for that?
Yes.
There's not a Collegiate League yet because the game was released in December.
Our
But
partners at ECAC,
Oh.
Esports, they just announced an open for that game, so it's happening. It's happening. Shout out to
There's
ECAC
not a
Esports.
league
Thank you
yet.
for being a great sponsor for the CCL.
shout out to ECAC. They do great work.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, yeah, no Texas bias here today, baby.
Okay, saving the desk from full Texas bias is Borg 3Z. Are you going to join
You're
them?
welcome.
Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, three. Yep,
Sound the
that
bias
sounds about
sirens.
right. Yeah, I'm also gonna go Texas A&M Maroon. Oh my God, big shocker! Whoa, I had no idea. To be fair, like Ole Miss is a very, very good team. I think they've got a very, very good leader in Yachty that can coach them up to amazing new heights and peaks. But you're going against Texas A&M Maroon. This team is really, really good, and I think that they are one of the best in the state of Texas. They got second place in the CCL Texas Cup this past year. So
I thought you were about to
me
say one of the
Texas
best in the
A&M.
league, and I think you might be mistaken, but
potentially.
Shout out to Reappers. That guy's a beast.
Yep, shout out to Rappers. Yep, absolutely. These guys are awesome. Anyway, let's start off with the stream slate right now, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Bestie and Slot. You've got UT Nerd Boom out of Austin and the Huntington Hawks out of Alabama. Another Southern matchup. What are we thinking here, K-Bot?
I see your tricks, Deceiver. UT Nerd Boom. You go get it done. Put it in the bag, but Maple, please start playing the game. I will issue you the same warning I just issued to Storm. Please start playing the game. Texas, the Longhorns have the possibility here to make it to Grands this
Yes.
season.
Yes.
Please.
Play the game.
I think all of us would love to see that. Both Texas bias fans and non-Texas bias fans.
Not me, but
We're rooting for this roster.
other people.
Well, okay,
would.
not you, but yeah,
Breezy,
you're
breezy,
the sole
something
exception.
incoming.
Listen, if Iron Wall 33 is a higher rank than you in the CCL in solo queue, you've got problems. Okay, that guy's a lobster.
alright.
That
Alright.
guy's a lobster.
Oh!
If he's a higher solo queue rank than you, you got some work to do.
Lobster alert.
Play the game. Get in the queues. UT Nerd Boom. Get it done.
Vaughn.
Yeah, I don't think I'll probably be voting against the Longhorns literally almost ever. So give me my Texans. It's the Longhorns. The 2-0. 07.
Borg.
Is there any lore that I missed why they renamed to UT Nerd Boom?
The
Can I just get, like,
esports
the quick
club.
Just like
lore?
Cat-
The esports club
like a-
exploded over the
Oh,
break.
Gotcha. That's all I need to know.
There's your team.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm going to go for them, but I do need to shout out special new name, new really cool name, new player coming into the league, I believe completely fresh, unless I missed it before, but I don't think so. I don't miss crazy names. Saw Dude Gabe.
Sawdude
That's
Gabe.
a cool name.
Yes, we mentioned him
That's
last
a cool
week.
name. I wasn't here, so I'm glad that I got another name to my list. So, I mean, hey, you play
Add him on
well,
the third
Saw
spot
Dude?
on the bench.
I believe
Not
3Z
yet.
said
You
that
gotta
they
prove
sound like
yourself.
chillers.
You gotta prove yourself first. But yeah, I'm gonna go with. I will never ever bet against Beepo and the Brownies. I will never do that in my life.
What?
So,
What?
The Brownies.
Oh, Beepo's Brownies.
You're not even the
Why
right
are we? Why are
school.
we bringing this up?
That's not the right.
It's not the right
school.
I
Cool.
realized as I said it's not the right.
Yeah, this is Nikki Middleton.
Hey, great time to shout out Beepo and the brownies.
True. Those brownies
yeah,
are
no, my
fire.
bad. For some reason, I always mix up the two together.
We miss you, Beepo. Come back.
R.I.T. and U.T.
Yeah,
Austin.
rest in peace, please.
That's because they're orange, I think. It's Tigers versus Longhorns. They're
There's
so
like
similar.
20
I'm
orange
confused.
teams in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, and he mixed them up.
Oh, it's Maple. Okay, yeah, my bad. They're still
Ah.
going with. I'm still gonna go with them.
All right, 3Z. Is it incoming?
My bad. My bad.
Yep, it's incoming. It is.
It's
It
a
is
Longhorn
imminent.
sweep.
A 3. Yep, it's a Longhorn sweep. I'll just say that right now. Thank you, Huntington, for joining the league, one of the new teams here, and shout out Alonzo as well for putting this one together. We did not get to see them play last week because that was a match that was forfeited. So this will also be their debut live on stream. But hey, let's see if they can get something done. They can get some cohesion. Maybe we'll have another Fairfield experiment happening down the line. Next up, 9 p.m. Eastern, the UCF Rogs, fresh off a win off of my Texas Tech Red Raiders, take on the U Alberta ESA Koalas. This is the longest distance match so far. Edmonton, Alberta, and you've got Orlando. So a lot of mileage between these two teams. Who you got?
The UCF Rogs have a very solid all-around roster who is all actively playing the game as far as I can tell, and I will be taking them, unlike their counterparts in the UCF Civil War. Although I will say it would be pretty hype if ISTAM pulls up with a Strage's performance tonight, if you know what I mean. But give me the Rogs. I'll take them this week.
Vaughn.
I'm gonna go the same way. I echo that sentiment. I think the Stags having a debut win was really exciting. EDA Phoenix and as well coming out with the Juno. I was happy to see it level 18.
By the way,
Done.
pretty sure I saw both of them in Nassel Twitch chat on Saturday,
Yes.
so they're studying.
Yeah. I got messaged by one of them too, so they're on the grind. I said this about an earlier UCF team, but the UCF teams are always pretty safe bets, especially because I don't think U Alberta's really. I mean, their old roster played together for so long that even though that it's changed recently, don't have a lot of faith, and I think they approach it in a more casual way. Like I don't think any of the players on U Alberta is like this is a priority for them, so I don't know if they're going to go out of the way to necessarily practice more for a harder matchup versus not. So I'm also going to lead like 2-0 UCF.
All right, Borg.
I'm just gonna go with UCF all the way today.
Okay.
Simple as that.
That's fair. 3Z.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In honor of the Bozo Bunch, it's a frog sweep. Ribbit. For UCF. Yep. Those guys are all pretty solid. They're in the queues as well. I forget what I saw Amy in. They were in something like ISS or not OSAS, probably like ISS maybe. Yeah, they've been grinding. And Tanky McTanky as well. Boy, yeah, that's a good roster. So we're going with UCF.
I do like this matchup. I think it would be a 2-1 in favor of the UCF Rogs. They showed up to the campus. Tanky and Diamond both showed up onto the UCF campus and showed me around this past December. So thank you to them. I think this will be a 2-1 in their favor. This U Alberta ESA Koalas team is a good one. I think they just need to keep hitting the cues, keep playing the game, and they should be able to make playoffs pretty easily. But I still think it's a UCF Frogs win. They've been a lot more consistent, playing a lot more often. So give me them. Finally, potential match of the week. Coming up at 10 p.m. the nightcap, the SLU Strikers returning to the stream against Esports at OSU. It's a Westie versus Midwestie battle. K-Bot, what are you feeling?
A banger match in week 2. Once again, this is if you're going to pay attention to any week 2 match, this is the one to pay attention to. And that's right, you have to stay tuned all the way till the end of the stream, even though Vaughn's going to tell you the answer to his Snapple fact of the day.
True.
At the end of the show. I will take Esports at OSU if their main roster is playing, but it looks like Laplation is in now in place of Zunicore, which I find rather surprising because Zunicore is actively playing the game. So I don't know if it's like a scheduling thing or schoolwork is going on or whatever the case is. So I think this one has real potential to be pretty close. I think I will actually take Slew here.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the 180. I'm going to take Slew. I think esports at OSU looks like they have potential. I think if Zunicore is in, again, very strong contenders for top 3 in the league, especially with the way that they're playing right now. But I think a roster change is going to take another week or two to sort out. They struggled a little bit versus Texas A&M last week. Their first game went to set 5. So I will take the Billikens here. Zoro's going to hold it down.
Vaughn.
I'll go the other way because I think if K-Bot and I have the same predictions all the way through, that's lame. So I'll go with esports at OSU. I mean, they're my Fanshawe Fuel, Boulders, and that team were my favorite last season. Like in this season. Pina enjoys him. Names AH actually has a goalie pool difficulty challenge SSR plus in Collegiate. Unfortunately, his goalie pool is actually a little bit like weaker than it has been in the past. Like the characters that I know him to play, like the Finny and the Amy, like they're still fine. But those characters can help your brawler score on probably the best goalie active right now in CCL. So that could be the difference maker. So I'll say like 2-1 to esports at OSU, but I'm down for either team to win because I like them both. So, org.
If Vaughn wasn't recovering from illness, he would probably be yelling at K-Bot, calling him a fraud or something. But the energy is duly noted. Don't worry, I felt it right here.
Something like that. Oh, and also since that'll be last time I speak, the answer was camels. Camels milk does not curdle. So K-Bot, you did not need to.
There's no way that I would know
There's
that.
no way. Where is
you know
Campbell
all the
University?
camels in
Hold on.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Is there a camel mascot?
There is a
That'd
camel
be actually
mascot. That's Campbell. The Campbell Camels in it's located in Bulls Creek, North Carolina. Shout out North Carolina.
Shout out.
The
North
Campbell
Carolina.
Camels. That's a nice little tongue
Shout
twister
out.
there for you. That is my NCAA logo brain going on there. So yeah, there is a camel mascot. Sorry, Borg. You go.
Thank you. Excuse me. Normally I would bet on the GOAT, Peanut Enjoyer, but Zoro, I'm giving you one chance. You mess this up for me, I'm never betting on you ever again in my life.
Wow.
So let's go with this.
I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of disagreeing with Vaughn and agreeing with Borg. I just don't like the idea.
That's honestly
And this
the main
happens
reason
to be
why I
too
did that,
consistent.
because I think it's too funny when me and K-Bot have the same pick and it's never correct,
It's like,
and
uh-oh.
he regrets it every time.
Oh,
So
no.
that's the real reason.
Oh yeah.
Don't mess this up, Zoro.
Yeah,
There you go.
seriously, don't
Don't
mess it up.
Don't
please.
mess it up. Breezy.
It's hard to bet against OSU. They have a crazy roster. They just like combine their teams, I guess. So who knows who's going to be playing? But either way, I know that Peanut Enjoyer is such a freaking beast in the midfield. And Names AH is solid as well. So when you have a pretty like solid goalie, midfield really gets to shine. Don't have to spend as much time hand holding. It can kind of just play the role. And I know Laplation's been in the queues. The Iron Wall has encountered that guy on many occasions. Zunicore, if he ends up playing, I mean, that guy will dominate. That guy's a freaking beast. Love this OSU team. So fun to watch. So yeah, I'm going to go with OSU here. Winning with Vaughn this week, probably on some 100%-ish. Yeah, OSU week.
This is going to be a very, very fun match. I think this will be a 2-1 win for either of these teams. You never know. If Peanut Enjoyer gets too many peanuts in him, they win. If Zoro gets to do his cardio and boxing training in the morning, I think they win. I don't know, but these are two very stacked rosters, and it's going to come down to the wire, I believe. Give me SLU. Give me SLU here. I'm breaking the tide there, but it's a 2-1. It's a very close win, an eked out win over the third place team versus the surprise team in the playoffs this past year. I have a lot of faith in Spirit Crab, Grant, and the Fool. I mean, I was speaking to Spirit Crab after their game, and I was like, great match. He's like, thank you, man, thank you. So, I mean,
I've
think
heard
it's
all I need to
SLUC.
hear. I'm going 5-6 next week. I've heard all I need
Going
to hear.
5-6. Anyway, stay tuned, everybody. UT Nerd Boom versus Huntington Hawks right here after we get done yapping right here on Bestie and Slot. We will see you guys next week, and hopefully, Vaughn, you'll be feeling better. Everybody will be feeling better. Stay
Hopefully
safe.
all of
Don't
us
be
will be
sick.
feeling better.
Please, we need to be healthy. See you guys later. Adios, everybody.
Good luck, have fun.
Have a great week, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CCL Spring 2025. We are here with Week 2 with UT Nerd Boom versus Huntington Hawks. How's it going, Weston?
It's going great. I'm excited to watch this matchup. We have a brand new team. You get a few of those each year. And this time kind of unique because Alonso was here a couple seasons ago. Now he's back in a completely new role, some new teammates. And then we have another team that's just a veteran of the league and always, near the top. And I think will be again this season. So just a good chance for this Huntington team to kind of learn about themselves, see how they do against a really strong opponent. But we'll see what they can do to put up a fight against, what is considered at least one of the top 3 teams in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm not wrong, this is actually a rebrand from Longhorn, right? They're now UT Nerd Boom. Flambeau, Nikki, Maple have, been long-standing players and have definitely performed to a high level. We have a Might aerial start, all Might on one side versus all aerials on the others. Thoughts?
Yeah, really, really interesting. So one team obviously going for damage quite a bit more. And especially, the rune pick could be really interesting if they get the right awakenings with some of that just extra power to start. But yeah, we'll see if the speed and the projectile range can triumph or if, Nikki and Flambeau are able to find those kills consistently. But first off, they've got the goal open, and Nikki Minilin has the dash punch over Alonso, the former goalie. First point to the side of Nerd Boom.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I do want to mention is I personally am a pretty big believer in Flambeau's rune. His rune is by far his best pick, and the fact that he even was allowed to get it is a little surprising, but we'll see if the side of Huntington has any answers to it.
Yeah, I have to agree. As someone who's played with him quite a bit, him getting the rune in organized competition is not too common, but he has it here. One barrier on each side is Mr. Flambeau with a great banish, but Sawdude Gabe has the secondary in time to save that. No cast loss, no duration yet on that, so it did leave him enough time. And Flambeau finding himself a little bit low. Great dash punch by Nikki on the Julie. Hits it to the middle, but Sawdude Gabe's able to get in position now. Has the ult. They're looking for a KO on Flambeau. Legature pushing forward with that Zen, trying to find it, but he has been able to heal up enough to be safe here. Sawdude Gabe now misses the strike shot, has to use the flip instead, but Mr. Flambeau with the teleport finds a KO, now gets in good scoring position.
Yeah, manages to find an okay position now. Alonso and Sawdude Gabe have to buy some time for Legature to come back. A good banish out by Flambeau. Nothing to really be capitalizing off of that, but now with Legature back on the field, we might see pretty good offensive plays out by Huntington.
Yeah, able to get to this to overtime, and with the Juno pick, that always gives you a chance to find some KOs. Actually, the goalie, the Asher, finding a KO there, so it'll be another power play. We'll see if UT Nerd Boom can capitalize on it this time, but Maple with an unfortunate missed strike off the middle, own barriers, so the goal is open. You have this overtime Juno. If you can find a slime in the right spot, may be able to score something. So far, Sawdude Gabe holding on, but a great pass by Nikki down to Flambeau. 2-0 for UT Nerd Boom.
Yeah, I really like Nikki recognizing that she doesn't really have the abilities there to look for that score, and then seeing, yeah, Flambeau is in that right position and finds it. I think another thing I want to mention, though, is Alonso's choice of picking up the Juno. When you have, when you're in a position where you probably mechanically outmatch your teammates, I think Juno is probably a pretty good character to kind of play, which allows you to have a lot of control in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely, and the dash as well lets you play a little bit of goalie. He's played goalie for a long time. I know he's even played Juno, and so a lot of the skills are going to transfer over, and also just able to help the brawler and help the midfield whenever they need it. And yeah, in the CCL you see a lot of teams like that where one team, one player everyone just kind of knows is a little bit better. So you're seeing that, you're seeing the Juno try to control, but it's going to be hard with Legature going down once again.
Yeah, Legature continues to fall, and now this might be all but curtains for the set. A flip out by Nikki, doesn't even need the pass and just gets the punch right past Sawdude Gabe. And a clean 3-0 for UT Nerd Boom.
Yeah, Mr. Flambeau finding a lot of really good banishes that they weren't even able to capitalize on yet. So I think once they do, it'll be even quicker. But a good job by Huntington to extend a lot of those points. I mean, considering just the experience difference between a lot of these players, even just getting a few of those points to overtime, you have to feel good about that, and you're showing a fight.
Yeah, and I mean, the 1-2 already going to Julie, the rune picking up perfect form, but there's still really great things for the other side, right? Fight or Flight goes over to the Juno, which is always scary when a midfielder has it. And even at last pick, there's so many good options here that the Zentaro still gets something.
Yeah, a lot of good awakenings for Huntington, and so if, Alonso is able to leverage that aerials, dash range, as well as all the speed that he just got from the fight or flight, able to take a lot of control like we were just talking about. So if they can make that happen and not get KO'd, they'll be in a good position. But Nikki Middleton off the banish from Mr. Flambeau there finds the dash punch on Alonso, and it will be a power play for UT Nerd Boom.
Yeah, and I mean, they capitalize and take the second barrier. Legature and Sawdude Gabe have to find a way to hold it, but a great wait out by Nikki Middleton, ensuring she can find that angle, and Sawdude Gabe isn't able to grab it.
Yeah, great pass, just found it into the corner easily. The Nerd Boom name is actually from a Season 1 Nasty team known as Nerd Boom, which had Nikki and Flambeau, and you've seen that they've played together not only competitively in the CCL but in other leagues as well. Just a lot of synergy. They're finding the KOs pretty consistently now, and if you're a team maybe a little bit outmatched in experience, the one thing you need to do is keep all three players on the field if you can. That time they do, but Nikki Middleton with a great setup to herself finds the punch between Gabe and Alonso.
Yeah, and I think especially with this with the Juliet, its ease of execution with your game plan is relatively straightforward. So I feel like on the other side, right, this Zentaro forward, you need to kind of be thinking a lot more ahead. And yes, you can say, oh, just damage them, but I just don't think that Legature has the awakenings yet where you can go for just a pure damage strike.
Yeah, and especially the level disparities as well make that more difficult. Just level 2 on the Zentara. So if Alonso can find some more passes, make use of this speed, but what a flip into the corner. Gabe had the flip himself, but standing a little bit too far up, and it gets past the primary of Alonso. So a quick 2 sets for UT Nerd Boom, looking in good position. We'll see what Huntington can find in this draft to try to bring some fight back.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first thing I'm looking at is that Among Titans, which is a great pickup for midfielders as a whole, but it's possible Alonso might just want to pass up on that because he doesn't want to risk, the negative size, but the speed is so valuable that, yeah, he just has to grab it there. But then on the other side, more size for Nikki with the Might, extra special with the Rune. These builds are really starting to spiral now.
Yeah, part of that was probably not wanting the Among Titans to go to Rune. It's a really good strong pick for him, who doesn't have speed yet, as well as the Might of the Colossus already being on the other 2 team members. It's going to mean Alonso has a ton of speed, but like you said, that size is going to make it more difficult in the strike wars. The speed helps, but the size is going to hurt a lot. Almost a double KO found off the banish there. Now one does go down, so Alonso and Sawdude Gabe, like we've seen all game, going to have to try to hold the 2v3.
Yeah, and I mean, Alonso, he is getting some really great strikes off. One barrier does manage to fall, and Maple looking to push forward with her forwards. Doesn't really get that opportunity to, and a banish onto Legature means that he doesn't have much time left on the world as he's taken off by another dash punch, and now this barrier, it's still being held.
Yeah, but great passing back and forth, finds it there. Another pass into the corner, and Alonso loses the strike or that size on the Julie, just a little bit too much to deal with. So a great, well-executed point by UT Nerd Boom, and just 2 more needed to find this first map.
Yeah, Nerd Boom, you mentioned the synergy. We see it in full form, really. And there's that banish into the pillar. That guy is getting murked, and he has no evade left, and is probably going to be taken off the map pretty soon, but at least Alonso does get a barrier. But in this power play, it looks really dangerous for Huntington.
Yeah, looking really dangerous. Just once again, they are doing a good job to stall here, keeping it on the other side. But as we see Legature continue to go down, you notice they didn't take the Spark of Rizzo in that last draft, and I think it's really hurting, just staying at level 2, getting KO'd over and over. This time it's Alonso who goes down, but Legature doing a good job stalling there, and Gabe winning some strikes as well. The secondary sends it a little bit too far back. Gonna have to use the flip, but does get it past. Unfortunately, not an angle to open the barrier yet, but we're nearing overtime, and once again, the Juno core speed could help them try to find their first point in this game.
Yeah, now we see Maple playing up, right? A little rotation of positions. Perhaps Huntington can find a way to use that to their advantage. A good strike out by Legature, followed up by Alonso. And now we might see a first goal for Huntington if they can continue this pressure.
Yeah, they're keeping on that side for maybe the most that they have all game so far. Alonso with the redirect down, has the core speed, gets the pass off Sawdude Gabe. Core staying red, going off these rune pillars, going off the center. It goes off again. Alonso trying to find it down on the other side to Legature. It gets through the middle here. Nikki Minwin up to Flambeau, who had the banish, but it's not quite enough. Legature almost gets it around, but not quite. Still pushing ahead. down to the corner, pass to Flambeau, who misses the pass to his own pillar, and now sent backwards. Legature almost into the corner, but Maple just has a few too many cooldowns.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you don't have enough, right? As that strike shot, non-existent, and that's the first goal for Huntington. Hey, maybe there's a chance they can bring this back.
Yeah, they are on the board. You know, some rotations from UT Boom trying to, I think, just test their limits a little bit. But Huntington did a great job of executing there. They can continue to stay alive. Alonso with all this core speed, especially if they can survive to the overtimes, you know, they're going to have a chance to just get those cores past the Asher before that primary can come out. Good strike boring here, keeping it on the offensive side once again. It feels like they've spent more time on this side than they had maybe the last 2 sets combined so far.
Yeah, but now with these pillars and now with the kill, Maple finding another one on Legature, and now we have this first barrier falling. Nikki with the flip, she's waiting right in front of the second barrier. No second barrier to be found, actually. Sawdude gave it, Alonso holding really well. It finally falls here, and these pillars, they're buying so much space for Nikki. A great banish into that Flame Flurry. It still doesn't go in. Sawdude gave, and Alonso are holding, but finally, the rebound, Nikki catches it, and she finds it.
Just a little bit too much, and they kept Nikki in the corner so long that she nearly did get staggered. They could have potentially looked for a KO if it lasted a little long, but eventually, like you said, those pillars are just too much to get around. You have to use so many resources to get it past them, and Mr. Flambeau once again going for the banish and the double pillar, but not quite finding the KO that time. We'll see if Huntington can put up a fight, but if UT Nerdboom can find one more point, they'll have a first map under their belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking to go that way. Maybe Alonso can find something back with the jump, gets the first barrier. Legature walking up this top side and looking to cover some space. There's that banish, only one hit, and Legature actually protected, but not enough as the Flame Flurry actually takes him out. And now in this 2v3, looks really dangerous, but Nikki, she is staggered, and a great strike shot from Maple means that the second barrier still lives for the time being. Good passes out by the members of UT Nerdboom, and another pass up to Nikki actually allows her to take that shot, and she finds it. Nerdboom take game 1.
Yeah, great back passing on that last point by Nikki, and then the setup from Flambeau, just firing on all cylinders there. And you saw Legature ending the game just at level 2, just really not able to get involved. All the power on Nikki, especially once those awakenings came in and the build was really developed. You see 11 KOs, 4 for Maple actually, and 7 for Nikki. So the goalie getting involved too, as you know, they would stagger Legature. Legature had to go to the other side, and Maple would finish him off. But yeah, just like a little bit like we expected, a lot of UT Nerdboom in that game, and they end up winning 9-1.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing I just saw, right, a lot of those kills on Legature were just from, at least from Maple, were just Maple dashing forward and just full comboing with the flip, because they really didn't need to use the flip for defense, right? Because of how dominant Flambeau and Nikki were on that offense, Maple had the opportunity to just save that flip for kills, and I think taking the adrenaline rush there for that final point allowed her to kind of move around a little bit more. Now, the one thing I do want to see is perhaps maybe making this game plan for the side of Huntington a little easier, right? You already have that with the Mako, right? The Mako's game plan is just making sure, okay, well, we're going to just keep my teammates sped up. We're going to make sure they keep the core forward. Juno, also pretty similar, relatively straightforward game plan. But I think for Legature, something like the Juliet, the X, the Asher, where you can really just sit right in front of the enemy goalie and then just go for these reliable plays. That might be better.
Yeah, at least being able to like block those strike shots, that'll help in the midfield. You know, maybe getting some damage, hopefully staggering the enemy goalie. I agree. Something like a Zen, it's a little harder to do that. You know, you're going more for finesse plays. You have the dashes. But if you just go for pure damage and possibly a midfielder or a goalie that's able to do a little bit of that, I do think that's a way that they could find themselves more points and just making Maple's life a little bit harder. Because like you said, she was just able to keep all of her cooldowns for any time the core did get down there. And it's really hard for a brawler to consistently win, consistently score on the other side if they have, you know,
yeah.
all their.
And I think the other thing, that Zentaro into Asher matchup is pretty miserable. I kind of know that from when I was watching NASA, right, this past weekend, where there are multiple times Zentaro was picked into stuff like Asher and Atlas, and it just was so difficult for them to score. And, well, perfect form start. Huntington already bans this X. Right, this means that Flambeau's rune likely gets through once again. Unless, you know, Alonso maybe wants the first pick it for himself or something of the sort. This draft does worry me.
I think there's a decent chance Alonso actually does go for it. I've seen him play it a little bit in the goalie role and probably has midfield. But yeah, UT maybe sees that coming and actually bans it themselves. So I could see those, you know, bans being the opposite way even. But, you know, if they were the other sides were red and blue. But yeah, this time they end up banning the runes. So interesting. I'm curious what they will go for the first pick. They could go for Zen again because it is perfect form start, but instead go for the IME, just
I'm
more
not
map
surprised.
control again.
Yeah, IME is pretty great. I think slightly worse than previous patches, but still pretty good, right? And it's a perfect form start as well, so great pickup. It's also a pick that Flambeau, I think, has started playing a decent amount lately. And well, we see Flambeau reverting back to one of his old picks in Juno, supported by the Mako from Maple. And then on the other side, we have Atlas Zentaro locked in for Huntington.
Yeah, I mean, Amy, Atlas, and Zentaro are maybe the 3 best users of perfect form, along with Rune, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting all 3 of those on a perfect form start is pretty great. So Huntington, I think, did a good job in this draft. But once again, it depends where the Asher goes, if it's brawling or if the Mako is brawling. But either way, Zen into Mako and Asher is a pretty difficult matchup to win for the brawler. So it's going to be difficult, but we'll see if they transition, especially with having that perfect form, into doing more damage to the goalie.
I think this could be Nikki Mako forward because I believe I have seen her play it like once or twice. And I think Maple is also just way more comfortable on the Asher.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're UT Nerd Boom, you kind of use a game like this to, you know, practice the picks that like you're semi comfortable on, but you want to get a little bit closer. And honestly, either way, either Nikki would be doing that or Maple would be doing that here. So yeah, I am curious what brawler goalie combination it is there. But yeah, I mean, a good draft for Huntington, and I think you found some good things for these awakenings. But once again, we'll see if the brawler can get more involved, possibly try to take out the enemy goalie, or just with the perfect form be able to do more with these cooldowns.
Yeah, I think there's a little more, it's a little more likely for this to be the case, right? Where Ligature can look for more damage with that perfect form. Just has to make sure he's on top of hitting those abilities. So as long as he is, he'll find more abilities. And then Alonso, I think I can kind of trust Alonso to help with that core control, especially with Sawdude Gabe's Atlas at his back. They could probably figure out some way to hold it down until Ligature puts enough damage on the enemies.
Yeah, Atlas, you know, one of the easier characters to play. It'd be pretty embarrassing to be in like the top 6 of mastery for him or something. I don't know who would do that.
No.
But you know, he's so, you know, he's easier to play, and I think, you know, a newer player in Sawdude Gabe, like we talked about, this whole Huntington team is new at least to CCL, and I think putting him on the Atlas, especially, you know, gonna have so many cooldowns with that perfect form is really good. And I think honestly, you know, despite the 9-1, I think Sawdude Gabe was looking really good that last game. So yeah, we'll see what he can do with all these cooldowns, how long he can hold on against that very strong forward duo of this game will be the Asher and Juno for Nikki and Flambeau.
Yeah, and I mean, we see Alonso already taken off the map, and the path splitter means the second barrier will fall really soon. Ligature and Sawdude Gabe have to find a way to hold on. A good snipe out by Maple Leaf, but it's actually saved once again by Sawdude Gabe. He tries, but it's not enough against Nikki's Asher.
Yeah, wasn't able to find the evade between the strike and had no cooldowns left, so the dash does find it that time. You know, Alonso hitting level 2 here. We'll see what he can do with these turrets. I think that's going to be, you know, a surefire way to get it through something like an Asher on this map. So this time using it defensively, and a great clear around the barrier actually finds it there. Ligature almost wins that interaction to find the second barrier, but we are even, one barrier on each side. A good clear found by Sawdude Gabe, so they are able to get it back on offense for a moment.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I do want to say for Huntington, even if the match has been pretty dominant against their favor, is I really love how Alonso and Sawdude Gabe have been playing defensively, because their defensive play has looked pretty clean, right? Especially for a new team coming into the CCL.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job, and Alonso. I think Gabe can trust Alonso because Alonso is a former goalie, and also I'm sure just has been giving a lot of direct advice and coaching to his teammate. So yeah, I agree. Like on defense, against really good forwards who have a lot of experience here, they've been doing a good job. Great pass up there to Legature, but unfortunately the ult sends it just barely backwards, and then Gabe clears up, and Alonso is not able to beat the Asher primary, and it'll be a second point for UT Nurboom.
Yeah, it's not looking the best for Huntington, but Aimee and Zentaro, characters that are notorious in their scaling potential. So even if they do lose this first set with an unfortunate double barrier, they may be looking for great scaling opportunities, but that was a great glitch pop out by Alonso.
Yeah, fantastic save. Just really had to read that one, but does lose the strike ward to Nikki, who's already up to level 4. Scores all 3 goals that set, and it's another 3-0 for UT Nurboom. We'll see if maybe Huntington is able to get on the board a little bit earlier than last time where they found their point in set 3. But, the hot shot showing up before the Juno gets it here is at least a bit of a save grace.
Hey, means no hot shot Juno. That's great. The Asher gets twin drive, which is, it's good for her. It's also a deny away from the Atlas. All right, I'm assuming the Juno wanted to be able to take hot shot if it was open, and it's not, so just continues to scale with Sparks. And yeah, the Atlas grabs the Rezel, which I'm not sure how I feel about that, along with the Zen Deadeye.
The problem is that the Rezel ends up denying your own Zen, so
Yes.
I think as the Atlas there, since you've already been denied twin drive and hot shot, you just kind of have to wait. Either go just go the siege, or just wait and see what your Zen can get. But unfortunately, in that situation, it meant that the Zen got nothing. Not like the first draft we saw in the last game where there was just everything for Zen that time. Has to settle for the Deadeye, and not too happy about that.
Yeah, and already it's not looking great for Huntington, but maybe they can find something. A good clear up by Sawdude Gabe, but Alonso's HP bar is looking real low, and with the damage that's being dropped on him, it's not even needed here, but it has definitely been putting him to the dirt frequently.
Yeah, and I think also just a few too many double barriers. It's easy on this map, especially, first time playing on stream. It's actually their first time playing because, in CCL, because last week their game was a forfeit. But just, have to calm the nerves and be able to find that back clear where you just make sure they only get the one barrier. Yeah, just a few too many doubles. An unfortunate clear there to Nikki Middleton means it's open once again, and she just strikes it back over and over. A quick 2 points for UT Nurboom.
Yeah, not the best, right? And I think the one thing maybe just Gabe needs to be a little bit more comfortable with looking for these out clears, right? If he can find these out clears, maybe these defenses do look a little better. And I feel like it was easier on something like Night Market because of the locations of the barriers, right? In this case, where the core can go behind the barriers, it can trip up less experienced goalies.
Yeah, less experience, and it's just, easy for the nerves. But Alonso with a great dash. They do have the goal open for the first time here. Sawdude Gabe, though, dealing with a lot. All these Juno slimes, the Asher dashing in. But Alonso and Gabe are able to layer the strikes. They're able to find it. Maple pushing up now, pops the middle. Alonso winning a lot of strike wars, but pass down to Flambeau, who has the flip but doesn't decide to use it yet. More interactions, one by Alonso, and Legature looks for the bottom corner but doesn't quite find it there. Alonso having to carry a lot of the weight and doing a great job so far. But eventually they just close in, nowhere to clear it really, and it'll be a second set for UT Nurboom.
Yeah, really tough clear option there, right? Because if you just send it down, Flambeau's waiting for that with that flip, and, well, Asher being first pick, likely going to grab the fight or flight, because it's great on Aimee, but it's also amazing on Asher, or could just opt for the stagger swagger and deny it. But yeah, fight or flight, the most sensible option, and it is picked up.
Yeah, and you saw that last point, both forwards just closing in, and you're going to have even more of that with the fight or flight, just so much speed on the Asher. Very hard to deal with. This time, wisely, the Atlas does wait not too much for them there. And, the Zen, once again, is able to get explosive entrance, so a little bit of dash range in this game. Has a decent build for doing some damage with the perfect form with the explosive entrance. We'll see what they can do, but it is once again looking like all UT Nurboom unless something drastic changes.
Yeah, and I thought for a second that we would have avoided that double barrier there, but Alonso was able to pick it up. Unfortunately, it still did go down, and Sawdude Gabe, unfortunately, did clear into that slime. And we are 2 points away from UT Nurboom taking this series.
Yeah, and then Slime had a lot of speed on it with the Mag Souls, the speed scaling with Juno herself speed. So every time Flambeau is jumping across, those Slimes just get a little bit more speed, and unfortunately it caught it there. Now able to keep the barriers up for a little bit longer than they had been, hopefully able to avoid a double here, but once again, it just feels like the same story over and over.
Yeah.
You know, a map where it's easy for that to happen, especially when you're less experienced. But the goal is open once again. Gabe clearing up, and these big Amy turrets are able to make a lot of space. Legature getting pushed out of the play and now finally dashed into his own goal. Just ran out of space to run away from Nikki, and she took him down. Now, Nikki dribbling into the corner, the primary, the flip, gets all of Gabe's cooldowns out, and then the pass down to the Slime that finishes it off.
Yeah, but can we just talk about... I just watched Juno do that strike animation like 4 or 5 times there because of the strike reset. It was just hilarious to see, and I thought I'd just point that out.
Yeah, the flip being in an awkward spot, like inside the other Slimes, and Legature once again just able to stay alive with the ult there, but another double barrier unfortunately, and Legature almost KO'd again. Might be the same story as last point. He does get taken down. Maple with the pass, now back pass by Flambeau, pushed into the corner, and the Slime gets all the way in there, and now Sawdude Gabe cannot beat the Asher primary with his own, and it's another 3-0 for UT Nerd Boom.
Yeah, that was a really tough way to go out that game, just because when you're flipping right in front of an Asher, it is really tough to deal with because Asher is so good at stacking those abilities to make sure you cannot deal with it, and somehow Nikki reads it and just waits. And then at that point, Gabe has nowhere to clear. He tries going into the Asher. He might have been able to sneak it out on the side, but even that would have been a little tough.
Yeah, unfortunately, just ran out of options. So a 2-0 for UT Nerd Boom. They move on to 2-0 in the league. Huntington, in their first actual game playing this season, got a really tough draw.
Yeah.
But they'll still be 1-1. Really, you need to get to 4 wins to make playoffs out of the 7 weeks in this. They already are one win toward that. So they can be in great position to make it. But hopefully, learning experience playing against such a strong team there, they can watch back what they can change. But yeah, great win for UT Nerd Boom. They'll move to 2-0. And any more thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, not particularly. I think the one thing, as you mentioned, right? Huntington did have a really tough matchup. I don't think they should really kick themselves too much over the loss to UT Nerd Boom. Really just take it as a learning experience because they still have 5 more rounds left to play out, and they're at a 1-1 point. They already have 1 win on the table, right? And typically, at least how it's been in the past, right? 5 wins gets you into playoffs, 4 wins gets you into play-ins. I'm not sure if it is any different right now. But realistically speaking, if you can make it to like 4 wins, give or take, you'll be fine, right? And if this team continues to work on their synergy throughout the throughout the season, which I saw great defensive synergy between Gabe and Alonso, then I don't see a world where they will end up at the bottom.
Yeah, and I know Huntington is a team that has been scrimming. They actually scrimmed my team last week, and I see them posting about scrims all the time. So they're working on it, and they're going to be practicing. And it's a long season to go, so they can keep learning, they can keep growing. We will have U Alberta and UCF. Yeah, UCF and U Alberta after this break, but we got 2 more games on the night. Don't go anywhere. More CCL action when we get back. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our second game of the day. UCF Rogs versus U Alberta ESA Koalas. How's it going, Weston?
It's going good. I'm excited for this one all week. As soon as the matches came out last Saturday, Sunday, whenever it was, I was
Mm-hmm.
circling this one. I was excited to see it, and I'm really glad got it on stream and got it
Yep.
when you and me are casting. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Two teams that have been around for a long time. Alberta's roster, I mean, I guess both of these teams' rosters changed actually in the off season. And so now, seeing who can prove themselves as, both teams were in the playoffs last year and now trying to get to 2-0.
Yeah, and I think the first big thing that sticks out to me is the fact that the Rogs and the Rods, both UCF teams, ended up swapping goalies, right? Because last season, Imi was on the UCF Rods, and instead Diamond is now on that team, and Imi is playing for the Rogs. And I want to see how Imi does synergize with Goi, who I believe was originally a brawler player, but then swapped around to midfield for tanky. And then on the other side, right, Light Sky and Zenith, they have played together in CCL multiple times together with multiple different players. And now this time with A-Stam, likely on brawler, we'll have to see how this goes for them.
Yeah, and Light Sky, a flex player who has switched out around a lot. I think Q's flex in ranked, and also, last season was playing, uh, brawler for this team actually,
Yeah,
with coin flip in the goal box, and now switching back to goalie. And so I think has a lot of picks from, his experience playing as a midfielder, playing as a brawler. I think the Juno is something to look for. Also, has played a lot of
yeah.
rune goalie, I know, and midfield, and so just a ton of picks and a ton of experience around different roles makes it an interesting team to draft against this U Alberta team.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I also want to note, right, is Zenith is another player who's relatively flexible. Has played Brawler back in his old days when he was in Nassau West Season 1. But I would say he is most known for his Estelle, and in Season 1, Estelle was banned against him, and we'll have to see, right? Does he get it again today?
Yeah, and really, we were looking at the stats before this and really showed up with a ton of shots. I believe you said leading the league in
Number one,
redirects.
leading
Yeah.
the league.
So, if he's able to get that Estelle again, I think it'll be just so much control over the game and able to help set up that brawler who is the newer player. So, yeah, I think really interesting if he's able to get it. But we see the draft, which I guess just happened a few moments ago, and it did get banned.
Yeah, so no Estelle for Light Sky. The Dubu banned away from Imi, which, funnily enough, I believe that is the pick they have played more as compared to actual character Imi. And then this Kai is likely going into Light Sky, then now likely going into Zenith, which was the pick he played last week when Estelle was banned against him. And then A-Stamp, once again getting the Rasmus. And then on the other side, Juno, Asher, and Julie. It's likely just going to be Asher goalie, Juno midfield, and Julie brawler. I don't think we'll see any double brawler shenanigans considering this is Gates.
Yeah, and I've seen Goy play. I know played the Juno a lot last season. My team actually played against this UCF team with the different goalie in playoffs, and they're a really strong opponent. And Goy was one of the rookies. I know I don't think quite made it onto the all rookie team for CCL, but definitely received some votes and was noticed. So was a big boost to this UCF team. And like they were talking on the pre-show and everything, it seems like both UCF teams just every year are so consistent, up there in the standings. And yeah, I think this comp is just big comfort for all of them. I mean, like you said, plays a lot of Dubu, but Asher is always the second that I see them on.
Yeah.
So yeah, big comfort for them in this draft.
Now we'll have to see if they can execute on this. The one thing I want to talk about is this Juno versus Now matchup in the midfield. Juno does have that more long range capability, but I think with a player with as much experience as Zenith, having speed to work with for him, if he's not on his Estelle, is something that he will benefit from greatly. And Now does have these multi-hits that can deal with Juno, right? People say, yeah, Juno Estelle is a pretty bad matchup for the Estelle, and it's because she doesn't have the multi-hits. Now can deal with that.
Yeah, and another character with multi-hits is also Kai. So I think really both of them
Yeah.
are able to assist a lot with getting past that Juno consistently. And so if there is any edge in this draft, I do think it's the fact that they have such a strong position to deal with that Juno. But Tanky is a very strong brawler who will be able to find his own plays as well. So certainly no done deal that they're going to win those forward battles. But yeah, a good comp to deal with Juno here.
Yeah. I think on the other side, right? This now Rasmus is something I don't want to say I'm worried about it, but I'm interested to see how they will play around not having any real traditional long range covering potential, right? Something that like an Estelle or an Aimee or Juno or Rune would have, right? Now and Rasmus don't have that nearly as much.
Yeah, I think until you get something like a Monumentalist or, more than just the Might of the Colossus size on Rasmus,
Yeah.
it is a fairly easy team to clear against. And I also think the Asher goalie into Rasmus Brawler matchup can be really difficult for the Rasmus to win because Asher, if they're playing well and paying attention, just able to anticipate those primaries so well. But yeah, we'll see what they can do, and I do think that is something that Alberta will be looking for in the drafts is just a little bit more reach.
But if you think about it, the other side has so many good options to deny that Monumentalist, right? The Asher loves it, the Juno loves it. So really at this point, it just becomes a game of roulette in a way. Can Zenith get this Monumentalist to show up in a position where he would greatly benefit from it? And looking at this, we have Might of the Colossus on both brawlers with Sparks for everyone else.
Yeah, and the Asher goalie here going for momentum boots is really interesting. I think especially on gates, Strike Shot is such a strong tool. You're able to push up and kind of cover behind you really well. So I guess going to be going more for just the straight push-ups with the momentum boots, but a quick 2 barriers for Alberta. Great corner control there, and they have the goal open pretty much immediately here.
Yeah, and then on the other side, right, looking at some of these other gears, the pummelers for Rasmus is a little surprising, and then the slick kicks for Julie make some sense, just because it's just good for core control, but I'd almost like to have seen it flipped.
Yeah, the Rasmus, I think, like we talked about in the last game, when you have a newer player, having them do a lot of damage can be one way to get them into the game, but maybe the pummelers is just a little bit too much because the speed's going to make it really difficult for A-Stam to keep up here.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if A-Stam really needs to keep up because the core just keeps getting to him, right? Zenith and Lightsky doing their job, just making sure that the core gets him, and a great evade out by Zenith means he still continues to live, and they don't have to play this overtime in a negative power play.
Yeah, and Lightsky has that eject button, able to hopefully help a lot. Just barely finds the strike there after Zenith got it past him. Great coverage there, but Goy, right as it hit overtime, had the primary to put another strike in there. It is the first goal for UCF Rogs here.
I mean, can we just talk about how clean Lightsky has looked on the Kai so far, right? There's that Giga Blast save there, but if we go to earlier in the point, we saw Lightsky pushing up with that eject and getting a really great double barrier with alongside Zenith and A-Stam on that offense. And a good hook out by A-Stam by some time, not enough as the double barrier does fall. A good hit stun and really good strike layer out by Goy and Tenki.
Yeah, that was a really unique clear by Lightsky. He actually cleared off the opening goal barrier to get that open, but just went right back down in too much coverage, not quite able to get it done. I think Zenith and Lightsky, like we expected, doing a great job controlling the midfield, but just, yeah, need to be able to get it to A-Stam in the corners more consistently with more abilities up if they can find these barriers quickly like they did in that first point.
Yeah, I mean, good catch out there by A-Stam, but keep in mind, there's still 2 more flips for UCF. One barrier is found by Alberta. Lightsky having to retreat back with his blazing pace. The movement speed boost is no longer available to him on this offense, so now Zenith and A-Stam have to kind of find something themselves.
Yeah, and Lightsky looking for a lot of these plays with the Giga Blast as well. I think that's going to be another, consistent way to try to find these. A-Stam now dribbling into the corner and finds a great upward angle there. Lightsky has to use the burst pretty early to make sure Tanky can't use it in the corner. Now Tanky with the dribble, maybe use it a little bit too early, but does find the KO on Lightsky. Now it's going to have to be a power play defended by Alberta to find this, but A-Stam not quite able to get there with the core flip, and it is a 3-0 for UCF.
Yeah, A-Stam had that core flip. I think he was in range, just didn't pull the trigger soon enough, and Yeah, last game we talked about the hot shot, right? Not getting to the Juno. This time it likely will. But look at this Monumentalist, right? Either the Julie takes a Dead Awakening or the Now gets the Monu. That's what we were talking about before the game.
Yeah, but also, with the Spark start, it makes it an interesting choice if you go for the Monu or the Focus. Does decide to go for the Focus, and, that means that both members, both the goalie and the midfield for U Alberta, both have 2 Sparks, and whenever that last Spark shows up, if they win that set, one of them is going to be getting it most likely. Heavy impact on the Julie is also something to look for. And this the player Amy and the Asher now has a ton of speed with these, and a Giga Blast KO for Light Sky means an early power play for U Alberta.
Yeah, and I mean, keep in mind, right, the 2 Sparks, one of them for each is that Spark of Agility, so they will be moving even faster. Light Sky looking for a play forward, but Goy does respawn soon enough, and now with that hot shot, he is looking to cause some chaos on this back end.
Yeah, but, that core speed and just great control by them means that even though they found the KO early in this one, still haven't been able to find any barriers. A lot of pressure. Tanky finding himself low now, and we'll see if A-Stem goes over and tries to KO. The primary now gets him staggered. I'm not sure if Light Sky and Zenith have the cooldowns to try to finish him, but at least for the moment gets him out of the play. They're able to push it up. Hit through the portal by Light Sky, but Amy is ready for it, and now pushing up with those momentum boots in the ult into the corner.
Yeah, not looking too bad, but now Tanky, he finds his kill, and he finds 2 kills actually from Goy as well, and now Zenith has to find a way to hold this 1v3. It's looking pretty dire for him, but a great mind buys him some time, but not enough for the Juno Slime.
Yeah, what a great job by Goy to redirect that upwards. Tanky was able to hit it as well, and yeah, the 2 KOs, they're having to deal with a lot here and not able to make use of that speed, which is their one advantage at the moment when you both go down. So, yeah, definitely some adjustments to be made for U Alberta. Try to find these barriers early like they did in the very first point of this game. So far, since then, it's been a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, definitely. And they need to see if they can find their footing. Light Sky now taking this chance to run forward, but you can't really run into that Asher, right? She'll just hold that with that primary. And now it comes back to the opposite side. Tanky looking for a good shot attempt, finds the rebound with the punch, and now with Goy and Tanky both almost having their flips ready, they don't even need it to find that goal.
Yeah, great jump by Goy, and just no barrage for Light Sky to try to cover that. You can see the frustration as he runs around, just nowhere to clear it there. And great coverage by UCF, who just look to be like they're firing on all cylinders here, finding great plays, and the aggression from Light Sky might come back to bite him, but great coverage by Zenith, and now has the core flip, but so many cooldowns for Tanky. That one gets struck away. Great layering, able to keep it alive, and Light Sky now with the sword angle keeps the point alive.
Yeah, and the sword angle, unfortunately, not enough. Zenith recognizing that that shot was going to the bottom, drops the mine, but it's slightly too slow, and, well, Jaime does find the shot, and now Goy is the MVP. What does he get rewarded with? Well, he might end up taking this Spark of Rezil, or just opting for something like this Primetime or Aerials instead.
Yeah, even though it's going to be a little less fun for the Juno, yeah, I think you have to deny the third Spark on the Kai there, who is already, the highest level for U Alberta. It does mean the Primetime helps you get more cooldowns on the Kai, able to hold that down more, but I think, a pretty weak draft for now here, not able to get too much. Some size on the Rasmus will help, but yeah, tough to see how U Alberta will be able to turn this around, but they did get more cooldowns and a little bit more reach on the Now and the Kai.
I mean, not just reach, right? One thing to keep in mind is now this is a little bit more speed for Now as well, right? Zenith finding that extra speed gives him more control on the map, and you see, right, he is just like schmoving around. And now Light Sky gets a great clear out to A-Stem. A-Stem takes the shot right at Imi, unfortunately. And now Zenith looking for this rebound, doesn't really find it, and A-Stem almost pays for it with his life.
Yeah, but some of the best offense we've seen from U Alberta since maybe that first point. Great job now, and they have a power play. Zenith pushing ahead. The Giga Blast by Light Sky almost KO'd, almost scored it, but instead it found neither. A-Stem now with the stun, but then misses the strike. Light Sky pushing all the way up, but able to eject button back. So much speed with those sparks. Zenith now trying to do it all himself, almost finds it, but the primary just went a little too far into the goal. Light Sky now gets it through the portal, but they clear away from Zenith wisely, who gets a little impatient and ends up using his core flip.
Yeah, now, I mean, Imi really won't struggle to deal with this Now scoring capability, right? A-Stam needs to be the one to find something. And unfortunately, the barrier is not what U Alberta wants to see. They want to be taking a goal for themselves, and now Tanky sitting in front of the net, waiting for something. A good barrage out by Lightsky buys more time for U Alberta, and a great proximity mine. Zenith finds the goal.
Yeah, the prime time for Lightsky coming in huge there. Went for the KO with the barrage on Tanky, but then immediately had another one to save it to the bottom. Great reactions off the hotshot Juno Slam. They're able to get their first goal here, and just really consistent offense throughout that whole point by U Alberta.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can continue to maintain that offense, they'll definitely look good. And Astem actually surviving that dash punch flip is pretty good for U Alberta, because it means now they have another flip here, right, on the offense or the defense, wherever they choose to use it. But unfortunately, he just walks into the Pat Splitter and dies. Now, one barrier left. Can Lightsky hold this? No, the barrage means he can't. He's still alive and has this flip in case he wants to use it. He backs up with the flip right back through the portal, doesn't take the barrier, but now Astem is back on the field.
And oh no, a dribble up, but Lightsky saves it vertically with the ult. What a play, but I think just completely out of cooldowns. No energy to use on an evade there. And Tanky saw the opportunity, gets the KO and the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's really heartbreaking for U Alberta, right? Zenith and Lightsky looking so good on the defense, but I think the one thing I do want to see from Astem, if he can figure it out, is just maybe start to look for some of these dribbles, right? Instead of just kind of thinking, yeah, I just need to get the core forward, just play for yourself, right? And then maybe we can find some more offense that way. And good attempt at a clear by Lightsky, but it's unfortunately not enough. A great evade clear, but it just goes right back down to Goy, who's ready to catch the rebound.
Yeah, Lightsky really showing up this game, doing so much to extend a lot of these points that look doomed otherwise. In that case, just nowhere to run after the evade clear. Runs into the pass splitter, much like Astem did in the previous point. Another great clear, just barely off. Tanky now wins that strike war, so they do find one, but Zenith able to push ahead with those proximity mines, but doesn't quite get a barrier yet.
Yeah, but keep in mind, look at this. Lightsky has no evade, right? He's had so many great evade clears, but without an evade to his name, he really won't be able to do that against the Juliet. And unfortunately, Astem not in position to kind of defend that barrier through the portal. Now Lightsky looking to push up. Maybe Zenith can find something here in the corner. One barrier found, maybe a second with that mine cutting off the out clear. Lightsky looking for these passes, but it looks like it'll be over very soon, because look at the energy meters.
Yeah, and a great hit by Amy. Just, everyone I think in the lobby thought he was going for the pass, but instead just puts it right into the bottom corner. Some encouraging signs from U Alberta there. I think Lightsky in particular really showing out that game, but ends up just being a 3-0 for UCF, who just looked like they were, all locked in and on the same page that game.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate for the side of U Alberta, right? This was a 9-1, but I don't know if it really felt like that, right? It did feel somewhat competitive in that regard, because Lightsky, Zenith, they were holding for quite a while. It's just unfortunately, when you're playing into an Asher, now alone can't really do much. We just need to see some hit stuns maybe from Astem coming in, and I think then U Alberta would have been able to find more.
Yeah, and I think Astem does play the Rasmus mostly, so hopefully in that next game is able to, just get a little bit more comfortable playing against, the stronger opponent, a team that's in the playoffs every season. It's definitely intimidating, and especially they switched over their goalie, and I think Amy looked really solid there. Looking at this scoreboard, the Asher goalie actually ending up with more goals than Tanky, and Juno.
All I'm saying, we got to fire that brawler. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah,
just might need to. But yeah, we'll see if they can find more hit stuns, find more points consistently in that way. But I think Zenith and Lightsky did look really locked in on the defense and transitioning that into offense pretty well with the eject button on the Kai.
Yeah, the one, sign of solace is that was UCF's map pick. Perhaps, because it did look like Astem was a little bit more uncomfortable, because Gates of Obscura is not an easy map to play, right? You have the portals, you have to figure out, okay, where is the core even going, and where do I stand, right? But Night Market is a map which, generally speaking, has a much more set game plan, right? You look for that speed, you look for good rotations for the core, and Astem can maybe find himself in better positions for those passes out by Zenith, and with so much space for something like the Asher goalie to hold, it might be a little bit more difficult for UCF if U Alberta can find that.
Yeah, definitely. I think as like the less experienced player, especially, yeah, Gates can be a really difficult map to kind of find your footing on and feel comfortable. And so if you're hoping that A-Stam will feel a little more comfortable and U Alberta in general is able to generate more offense, I think Night Market is a great place for that to happen. It can still keep the core speed up, the speed yourself with the middle speed gate. And yeah, we'll see what U Alberta is able to do. Try to get this to a third map, but UCF looking really strong in that first game once again, and both teams really, looking like they belong at this 1-0 record that they're at.
Yeah. I think that both of these teams will definitely end up in playoffs, right? Just from the assumption that like roughly half these teams will make it into playoffs, because we have like around like 30 teams, give or take, this season. Yeah. So yeah, the 30 teams, I think both of these teams will probably be in that top 15. I think ROGS, as it looks right now, will likely end up higher, maybe even pushing that top 8, while Alberta is probably going to be like around that like top 12 to like bottom of playoffs mark.
Yeah, and that's where they were last season. And adding a new player, certainly some growing pains, but they've done it before. They've had roster turnover quite a bit. I think Zenith actually had not played for a season and then came back for the last one, also playing this season. And so yeah, that's where they finished last season. I did check; it is 31 teams to be exact. And yeah, I think they can finish in that bottom, playoff range once again as they have before.
Okay, so this is interesting, right? I think the side of U Alberta recognizing that Asher goalie was something they really struggled into, so they denied the Dubu and first picked the Asher. Estelle's still banned, but then UCF answers by picking the Now to deny for denied away from Zenith, and then the Imi goalie, which is Imi's third pick. Then Juno Kai answered, right? This is probably going to be... I actually don't know. Would this be Light Sky Juno or Light Sky Kai?
I'm guessing it's going to be Light Sky Juno. I think, Zenith, I think Kai is the go-to third pick after the Estelle and the Now. So I think it is going to be a Juno goalie, which with that aerials, maybe some shades of Pensando, which we see in Nassel, able to really help scoring. And I think that could be just what U Alberta needs to, jump in there, help ace them out and have all that reach for Light Sky.
Yeah, and I think at least for U Alberta, their game plan is a lot more set in stone now. I was talking about this last series too, right, where Huntington continued to pick Zentaro. Picking something like this Asher just means, all right, A-Stem, you don't have to go anywhere. Just sit on the enemy goalie and press primary or secondary when the core comes to you, right? That is your job, right? Because you can trust Zenith, you can trust Light Sky to get the core to you eventually. Because they were doing that, right? It's just unfortunately they weren't able to convert on the Asher goalie.
Yeah, and now on a, we see Amy on Amy, a more not as safe of a pick as the Asher, just who kind of wins so many of those interactions for free. It feels like. So yeah, like you said, just able to maybe just sit down there. And like you said, use those cooldowns every time it gets down there. Because I think with the Juno and the Kai and the aerial start especially, they're going to be able to find the core to A-Stam pretty consistently.
Yeah. And hey, other fun little side note that I wanted to mention is, for those who didn't know, right, Goy is actually ZZZ's younger brother, right? ZZZ, one of the most well-known artists of the community, as well as someone who greatly enjoys KOing people. As I mentioned, Goy originally started as a brawler, following in his brother's footsteps, but transitioned over to midfield for CCL.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think A-Stam may want to, find a bit of his inner ZZZ this game, like we were talking about. So hopefully he can find some KOs, and Alberta is able to get it to a map 3, make it a more interesting series. But once again, ROGS looking really strong, really comfortable in that first map. And I think a lot of it will be on how comfortable U Alberta is on this, different comp, taking Light Sky off of the Kai, which looked really strong, but now to that Juno, and we'll see what he can do jumping in and making use of that eject button again in a slightly different way.
Yeah, and Ariel's locked in for Zenith, Lightsky, and Aimi, and everyone else opting for heavy impact. One thing to note is double eject button, double mags tools.
Yeah, a lot of speed around the midfield line, and also the goalies, when their teams are on offense, are going to be hovering around that midfield line. Lightsky not holding his mouse far enough. Unfortunately, gets the jump stopped by the wall. Tanky finds it to the bottom corner, and really unfortunate for Lightsky, who goes over and is a little bit upset with that middle barrier.
Unfortunate for him, but hey, he has a lot of time to find it back. Zenith already going on this offense. A good attempted Giga Blast self-pass. They lose one barrier, and the clear down actually loses them the second barrier, unfortunately. And Tanky, he recognizes there's no jump for Lightsky, and he just hits it around him.
Yeah, and I know I've played with Lightsky a good amount. He was actually, him and Tanky were both subs on the Power of Friendship and Nasty, and I know Lightsky, when he makes a play like that, he loves to emote like that. He loves to stand still. So unfortunate start for you, Alberta, but hopefully, with Zenith doing all this dribbling, they can find some more balance here. But Tanky, again, just finding such good placements with these strikes and is able to get it all the way around. Zenith, though, with the Giga Blast, is able to get one back, and Lightsky trying to jump in and help out the offense.
Yeah, Lightsky does try to jump in, and A-Stam actually dies here. The mine actually disappearing. Zenith catching that rebound. He almost has his flip ready, and he might end up flipping here for the barrier. The Aimi turret is dropped down, and he flips defensively to make sure he lives, but he is on such low HP with no evade.
Yeah, and I think the Now was about to find the KO with that heavy impact, but instead the Slime sends it up, and it just has all that speed, comes off the middle, and unfortunately 3-0 for UCF. Hopefully you, Alberta, can find a little bit more and just kind of cool their heads after some really unfortunate bounces and unlucky points in that first set.
On the bright side, there's a fighter flight. Maybe it goes over to Zenith. Not likely. Oh, but it does. The perfect form opted for by the Juliet. So Zenith gets his fighter flight. That'll allow him to control midfield so well. And Timeless Creator, right? Interesting pickup because it's a deny away from Aimi. But as Juno, it allows you to have way more presence in that midfield.
Yeah, and I think especially on the goalie, you can kind of just primary on one side, and then that's it. That Slime is able to hold it for a while with the size and the duration, and you're able to go worry about the other side. The Slime's getting in deep that time and are able to find the first barrier. Now Lightsky jumping in, trying to help, staying in there for a while, and has some good passes from 8-Stam, not able to find it that time, but now the Patience sends it down to Zenith, who has that fighter flight, and like you said, that's going to be such a strong pick to try to really take over this game and control it, much like Lightsky was with the Kai last time, just trying to have as much impact as possible.
Yeah, I mean, because he is able to control it like this, right? It allows him to play, to just win every single strike war, right? He has the slick kicks and a mag souls. The passive speed and the active speed makes it so he pretty much never loses control, except for when the enemies dump damage on him.
Yeah, and this time they do. They're doing it again. Finds himself staggered, able to get the speed gate to try to run away, but a little bit too greedy, going for the core, trying to help Lightsky out, but it ends up costing him his life. And Tanky, I think that one was going to score anyways, but flips just for good measure, and a 4th point over to UCF.
Yeah, I think, again, what I really want to see from A-Stam is just, like, instead of waiting in the midfield, just sit on Aimi and make it so that once the core gets them, it's just a guaranteed barrier. Right? Zenith is putting in so much work, gets the first one, almost gets the second, and actually forces out Aimi's flip, meaning he has a chance to score here, but that's a really bad double barrier to lose to, but maybe they can salvage it.
Yeah, I saw Lightsky go for the redirect, but the strike was just a little too early or a little too late. Not sure which one, but like you said, Zenith doing so much work, and they're able to keep this point alive even after that double barrier. Almost finds the angle, but a great glitch pop from Amy does save it. A-Stam not able to find it, and Goy does whiff the flip, so a big energy advantage for Alberta, but still, UCF the ones who have opened the goal this point.
Yeah, and A-Stam already off the field. Zenith with a great barrage to stop the drone from shooting it much further, and now this Giga Blast, he's buying so much time with these strike wars. He has a flip here, he might just use it to take this barrier if he really needs. There's that cyber swipe, and the glitch pop follow up, a great shot out by Aimi.
Yeah, almost enough time for Lightsky to jump backwards and be able to get that, but just such good anticipation from the Amy. who's named Amy and is able to find that one. Zenith, like you said, this fighter flight has been such a strong pick. So hard to win strike wars against a Kai with that. But, you know, Goy and Amy are just doing a great job of holding down these last barriers so far into these points that they're not able to make enough use of that Kai speed to get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, the Kai burning one barrier off the other side with the flip, but he has no evades now, right? And he's taking a decent amount of damage. A good jump forward out by Light Sky, almost dies off the edge thanks to the drone, and now has to find a way to save it against Tanky. A good evade, even though it didn't need it. But now this is looking really dangerous as the Firewall Sentry is dropped down. There's a flip for Ami in case they decide to use it.
Tanky with the dribble, but it ends up going to Zenith off of that. The Juno ultimates put so many slimes into the play. Good evade clear by Light Sky once again. Actually didn't clear it, but the ult stopped it enough. And a heavy impact primary from now just kills A-Stam, and they're able to get it up to Tanky, who puts it in. A 5th set in a row in the series for UCF. And Alberta are going to have to find something in this draft to turn it around.
Yeah, and I mean, something they might find is that hot shot or 1-2 punch, because likely they could technically double deny it here, right? In which case, yeah, it makes things really tough. And there's that 1-2 punch getting denied. Stacks could actually go over to Zenith, and that could be a real game changer, but off to the Stagger Swagger instead, recognizing that he is getting a lot of damage dumped onto him. But that means that the Stacks is left up for Juno, so once again, double speed for Alberta, it means there is a world where they can come back.
Yeah, and also, you know, A-Stam was able to find the Demolitionist last time, the Might of the Colossus this time, so rocking a cool 141 power, and then just so much speed on the other two members. If they can do that game plan like we were talking about, of just having A-Stam be a pest on the enemy goalie, strike it every time it gets there, maybe try to do some damage and some ZZZing, but so far it's just all UCF in this point once again, and the speed not able to be enough. Evade a little bit too early by Light Sky and wasn't able to strike it out of there. Tanky with another KO and another goal.
You know what? That was a tactical death, right? Because if he doesn't die there, he has no evade for the next round, right? So even if the evade clear fails, it's okay.
Yeah, able to get the energy back, and an early KO for Zenith with the Giga Blast. It's able to get them a power play and pushing ahead with so much speed. The Stagger Swagger, the Fighter Flight, getting it all done, and unfortunately Goy ends up secondarying it backwards with the drone. So they're able to get the goal open for the first time in what feels like a while. Zenith coming back to help on defense. Barrage backwards actually is able to save it. A great play there. Now trying to keep this Fighter Flight up, get the core, and be able to dribble, but Tanky just taking up so much space and is able to get the other goal open.
Yeah, A-Stam doing pretty well on the defense, but unfortunately there, he's not fast enough to be able to cut that pass, and now the UCF Rogs are 1 point away from taking this.
Yeah, great passing by Goy off the center to just barely find the angle into the corner for Tanky, and just one more is needed. I think all members of UCF just really doing such a great job this game of understanding they just can't let Zenith completely take over, even though it's felt like it in a few points. But just playing so well, playing together, and you know, you saw the great passing plays in that last point.
Yeah. And now we see the second barrier likely falling. A good clear out by Light Sky. Zenith needs to be a little bit careful, but with the Stagger Swagger speed, he gets one barrier, but not a second. And the Firewall Sentry dropped on defense. The dash punch flip takes 2, and Light Sky isn't able to save that second barrier. And with that, UCF Rogs take the series.
Yeah, and all 3 members getting involved on that last goal. Tanky with the double, the pass up to Goy, who centered it perfectly for Amy, who had the dash range to be able to score that. And I think that just showed what UCF was able to do all game, just playing together as a team, all getting it done together. And yeah, another 2-0, really strong showing for UCF, who are showing that they're definitely, you know, seem to be on their way to playoffs for another season here, as you see the scoreboard there, and just such great participation from all 3 members.
Yeah, UCF Rogs looking really clean, and I'm excited to see what this team has to bring across the rest of the season, because like we saw with UT Nerd Boom before, this team's synergy is pretty good, right? This team knows how to pass back and forth between one another. I think I'd still favor UT Nerd Boom in that matchup, but UCF Rogs looking good. Alberta, they maybe need to find a way to bounce back, but I don't doubt that they will, as they have a very strong backline core. and then they just need to help A-Stan grow into that brawler player that they need.
Yeah, and a lot of teams, that's the story. You have either one or two players who are really, experienced and competitive in playing for a long time, and then you just need to be able to get those third along. And early on in the season, you can't really expect them to be all the way there. But the fact they're able to find a win in week 1, like we talked about in the last game, you just need to find 4 or 5 wins to get yourself in the playoffs.
Yep.
So they already got one there, and then gain some much needed experience today against a team that seems certain to be in the playoffs once again.
Yeah, and I guess with that, anything you want to say before we head off to a break?
No, I mean, we just saw the longest possible matchup in the CCL, I believe, as far as distance with West Canada and Florida. So the servers can only go up for the rest of the year unless Alberta faces both UCF teams like they did last year, and it happens again. But yeah, it was a fun game to watch with you to cast both of those.
Likewise.
And yeah, this third game, especially that we're going to come back to, I think is going to be one of the best ones of the week, and I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, definitely. But I suppose that's it for us. It was a pleasure getting to cast these games, and for everyone watching at home, one more series, we'll have a new set of casters. Don't go anywhere.
Good evening, my collegiate strikers. I, Brickbat, am joined by Z Yoshi for our final series of the day. We got SLU versus OSU, and as Weston was saying before him and Ether ended their cast, he was looking forward to this game, and I think it's a pretty good reason. I think that both of these teams had pretty great runs in the previous season. Obviously, we've got slightly different casts here. I believe that both teams have actually swapped a player out, so we'll see if either team has really adapted to this new dynamic first, and I think that'll be kind of what to watch out for going into this.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw last season, both these teams did exceptionally well. We saw a third place finish from OSU, fourth place from SLU, which means OSU, previously won. They did better.
Mm-hmm.
But we have seen some roster swaps. Notably, SLU has lost Coin in favor of Spirit Crab, and Coin, player who's, I don't want to say has been on the come up because I feel like he's always been up, but he's no longer with us. Has moved on from. I don't know why he's not here, but we've got Spirit Crab instead, and that's, I think, going to be very interesting, especially because of how this team plays. We've got the Fool putting the Mako in the bag with his two brawlers, and I'm curious to see if that's going to be enough to get through this team that, again, has done well into SLU before. Crazy week 2 matchup.
Yeah, one thing as well, looking at the other team here, if your goal is to use that Mako drum, the drum and bass, to empower your brawlers to get good positioning, to contest in the midfield, to play well, you don't want to be against hit stun machines, and 3 hit stun machines is what OSU have fielded this game between Aimee, between Estelle, between Asher, all primaries that can prevent that win conditioning from happening, especially if any cooldown really goes the way of OSU. That being said, already a great start here coming out from SLU, taking 1 KO down and taking a goalie barrier with it.
Yeah, Spirit Crab pulling out with a beast mode dash punch onto names are hard, if you will, and really they're just slugging it out in the midfield. The health bars are dropping left and right, but all the barriers are going to be down for SLU, and things are looking tough. Playing against Estelle Asher as a melee goalie is not fun. They can pass around you, or they just have the tools to stuff it through, but Spirit Crab going to be stuffing it through right there, almost getting it in, but not quite. Things are looking a lot better for SLU now.
Yeah, and right now there is a bit of an offensive here from OSU, but Zoro has the flip, elects to use an unfortunate use of it, means that the defensive isn't going to be here if it actually does come down to it, but an excellent whiplash here from Grant OS, able to get it past Peanut and Joyer in the overtime, and that's point 1 going the way of SLU here.
Yeah, things were looking a little tough, but they were able to hold on. Definitely in part because of the Fool and his defense, but it's so hard to defend against that flip, especially on this map right in the middle, getting both barriers. KO being found with the dash pop flip onto Spirit Crab, and that's what you like to see if you're an OSU fan. 3 big booms coming out for them, and SLU is looking a little tough.
Yeah, right now you see the Fool currently playing exceptionally well, winning pretty much every strike war that's required of him, and a bit more, keeping this goal alive for now. The snare drums is finally down. No member of OSU actually making an effort to interrupt it, which means that it's a little bit harder to clear. I'd really like to see bit more interruption coming out. They all do have the tools to do it. That being said, Flip finally comes out from Loplation. Flip comes out from Peanut and Joyer. Gonna be blocked away. Wow, even despite the best attempts here from Path Splitter. The offense, though, from OSU is not going to be over. The barrier beam finds nothing as well. Now it's named AH's job to get the core through, and that he does. Loplation able to get it into the bottom side of the net here.
Yeah, a great play coming out from them. I'm sitting here and I'm really impressed with the Fool, which is, if you've ever watched him before, very good. He won Nasty this past season. Exceptional player. Has played in Nassau before. Lost both barriers, so you know, I'm conjuring some devious magic on these curses. But even in the open net, Mako, a melee goalie who just has really exceptional presence in the open net. The defense is so great, and I think it's the crux of how this team functions, where they just let Zoro do it up in the net, defend, while both Grant and Spirit Crab are going to be coming out and trying to mount an offense, but Peanut and Joy are able to get the piercing shot right through Grant OS, and that's going to be another point for them. Very clean, very nice, and one guy on defense can only do so much, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Strike itself has a cooldown, as much as we hate to admit it sometimes, and right now, the strike that feels like it has no cooldown are the offensive coordinated strikes here of OSU. It feels like the Fool really has to pull out kind of every trick in the book in order to keep his goalie barriers alive, and as that happens, we see Grant OS taking a huge chunk of damage. That being said, a little bit of peel here is going to be provided on the other side of the map. Spirit Crab almost with a goal on his very own sum here. Loplation here to deny the Rasmus win condition of pulling the core, getting that strike reset. That being said, the secondary here from Rasmus potentially is going to build enough space. Dash Punch claims the goalie, but not the goal. So right now, Loplation and Peanut Joy are tasked with stalling out this offensive. The Ensnare Drums goes down. Nothing going to be found with it so far, though. Piercing shot keeps the core away from Spirit Crab once again. An excellent strike war from Peanut and Joy. Again, this defense from OSU now matching their offense here as we get into overtime here. Now Dash Punch unfortunately got a whiff, which means now the offense here from OSU is going to be starting up again. Firewall Sentry comes down and forces the flip here from the Fool. His name's AH is here now, forced to defend, an unfortunate bounce. It's actually going to lead to the goal here for SLU, and now we've got a tied up set here coming into set number 1.
Yeah, a bit of an evil Soren angle hitting the rift, and a great stun coming out from Spirit Crab to stop Names from doing anything to recover. 0.5 immediately, and we're seeing again, it's kind of just the Fool on the 1v2 offense, and to save the second barrier, that last point, he had to expend every single resource he had, the core flip, all the abilities. I'm talking all of it, and that was just to save the barrier. Obviously, it worked, and actually, he's getting in there, pushing up a little bit, you know, looking good, but it's a really dangerous way to play, and I wonder if OSU will be able to do something about it in these later sets.
Yeah, definitely right now. And speaking of being able to do things, OSU is finding themselves a little worse for wear. No flips, but they do finally get that barrier on this open net. Loplation here with a shot going to be blocked away by the perfect pitch here from the Fool. Flip is still here in front of the net if it's needed, but an unfortunate dribble means that the OSU offensive evaporates here. Now in overtime, Peanut and Joy are trying to get it downfield. The Fool is going to be actually taken out, though. And a passing play, unfortunately, going to be a little bit misexecuted here. So the point continues. Piercing shot's going to claim the life of another Spirit Crab with a nice strike. The right idea, but unfortunately not the angle that you want to get off the Soren angle. And that's going to be set number 1 here, going the way of OSU.
Yeah. I just watched Loplation walk up and then just start killing people.
Yeah.
Just taking them out, removing them. But moving into draft, we see Grant OS hover built different. Bless his heart. I hope it'd be awesome if he gets it, but if I'm OSU, I'm thinking about denying that Rasmus. But it looks like that's not going to be happening. 2 sides on the board. Deadeye going to the Fool, looking to get a little active in the damage department. Siege Machine on Names, going to be longer turret. And peak performance on Spirit Crab, I think, is going to be very nice. a little bit more speed to hunt for these dash punches, especially against Asher and Estelle, who both have that slower base speed. Having that extra speed is going to be nice to just hunt them down. Both Asher and Rasmus picking up a Size Awakening going to be nice, but we'll have to see how these teams respond. I definitely like SLU's draft a little bit more. The speed on the Julie, the Deadeye on the Mako are going to be nice, but it's going to be hard to get that Deadeye value with an Asher right on top of you, and 500 abilities coming directly at your dome, the Fool looking a little low. This is brutal.
Yeah, it is brutal now. Names AH has the opportunity here to play with his flip, but a hard save it is going to be. The Firewall Sentry does come down, and actually, with this Seed Machine, it's able to escort the core here. Laplation, though, an excellent strike. Now opening up the goal here for the side of OSU. Pathsplitter comes down, forcing the Fool out of position. The damage is coming out. Laplation gonna be hunting for a kill here, but he might be the one staggered himself. Because right now we are only one dash punch away. Names Age almost lets the core through, but nothing gonna be found. And Peta Enjoyer, a nice little piercing shot, snipes his own little cross clear. That's gonna be the first point in the set here, going to OSU.
Yep, a great bread and butter coming out from the Estelle. We saw the Fool kind of searching for the, or leaving the corner, expecting some abilities to be coming out on a cross clear or just across the open net, but Peanut Enjoyer just took the opportunity right in the corner, and now is trying to hunt Grant OS, who has a flip. That's going to be a KO found on that guy, but another by Spirit Crab, responding in kind and taking that last barrier, has the flip, looking to get something. Oh, and does in the bottom corner. Very well placed strike, and that's going to be a point tying the game up for SLU here.
And Fool going there, celebrating his brawler with a little kiss, shades of OSNYC. So right now, Peanut Enjoyer able to win a good strike war here, which means that OSU once again find themselves here on the offensive. Grant OS with a good hook finds a little bit of purchase here, sending the core downfield, but unfortunately only leads to a single goalie barrier taken. And right now, you were mentioning it earlier, the draft looking really good for the side of SLU, but it really feels like OSU has been coming alive. They've been getting a little bit of extra damage. They've been really putting a lot of pressure here on the Fool, and I mean, look at that, right? Barely one evade to your name, barely any HP here, and just getting, piercing shots and barrier beams in your face. It really feels like OSU have a game plan. And it's not even just to interrupt the Mako drum and bass, it's to just kill her before she does anything. That being said, unfortunately, the Caster's Curse may have been a little bit strong.
Right, some devious magic coming out. We are at our cauldrons, Eye of Newt, etc. coming out in full force, but Laplation is back and is looking to just hunt someone else, just fishing for these KOs, and that's going to be one right there onto Grant OS. And I don't think SLU wants to be in a power play or have a power play against them ever, because they're just going to get run over. They really need all three members on the field at all times to get things done. And so that's going to be a bit of a quicker set going straight for OSU here.
Yeah, it really feels like the Siege Machine definitely adding so much value to Names Age's game plan, because he's able to put the Firewall Sentry basically from net to net now, and those extra redirects are actually really catching the Fool off guard. And if he's not able to adapt to that, and given just the standard scoring opportunities here that Laplation and Peanut Enjoyer are getting, it's going to be really hard for any goalie to really defend against that. And going back to the draft here, some big ones to look at. The 1-2 punch from Juliet, one of her best awakenings obviously, is going to potentially buy a lot more space here in these corner defenses should the side of OSU play a little bit too loosely here. That being said, it's going to be Grant OS potentially threatening to be the first KO here of the set.
Yeah, and we saw a Monumentalist and Explosive entrance come out for Names and Peanut Enjoyer respectively. A lot of extra damage coming out, especially the Monu Siege Machine. So much damage, and the turret's huge, and it lasts forever, and you are going to die. And that's going to be tough to deal with. On the other end, though, like you said, 1-2 punch for Spirit Crab is going to be a big game changer. Already been picking up those dash punch KOs, and is now just going to demand so much more respect, unless OSU wants to get punished for these dash punches. Peanut Enjoyer almost did Pop's flip to deny the Julie dash. We also see the Fool pick up Heavy Impact, which is also more damage, kind of trying to catch up in this damage race and fight back. We see it working pretty well here on Laplation, looking a little low, and is going to have to be dodging these Asher primaries. They want to get these barriers, which he just did. So, hey, great work.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing as well, I typically don't like the Monumentalist on the IME. I feel like it really doesn't contribute. You want longer turrets rather than bigger turrets. You want longer lasting turrets too as well. But honestly, just looking at that build, I'd want to augment my turret a little bit with size as well, because so much of your awakening, so much of your drafting has already been invested into it, and it's already proven so effective that it really does feel like the correct choice over potentially other similar picks that IME would want. So I think Names AH is cooking a little bit here with the draft, and speaking of getting cooked, that's going to be Grant OS taking off the pitch here.
Yeah, Laplation, just a shark in the water, hunting at every opportunity. We can just kind of see hovering the position, just like below players and the wall, trying to just find these opportunities to pinch them.
Oh my gosh.
And with the help of the longest lasting, biggest turret you could ever fathom, that's going to be another barrier. And like you said, this IME build is unholy. Every once in a while, you get to press the turret, but the Fool coming out with these saves is unfortunately going to be taking a piercing shot to the dome. And OSU is on match point now.
Yeah, OSU dominant. I mean, Names AH putting the wall and Firewall Sentry feels so hard to actually get any sort of momentum going on the offense or the defense here for the side of SLU, and a missed dash punch means that Name AH going to be content with probably just giving up one goalie barrier and calling it a day. So right now it feels like the first defensive sentry turret this entire game coming out, making sure that that second goalie barrier does not go down. Now though, taking off the pitch, the Juliet not going to be available here for this defensive play. Laplation potentially able to end it here, but Names H, the hit stun coming out. It's actually going to go all the way through all three members here of OSU. That being said, oh no, a flip missing here from Names AH means that things are going to be a little bit hard. There's potentially some momentum here found for the side of SLU, and that it is an open net now here for both teams, but you have to survive the final opportunity from Laplation, and Laplation just needs one, and that he finds, able to end game number one here, going to the side of OSU, and a dominant start of the series.
Yeah, definitely. Some great ball movement coming out from OSU in that last point. Getting it right up to that top corner and securing it. MVP going to Peanut Enjoyer, who I think we did not talk about a whole lot. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, but clocked in 166 redirects. And I think if you are a midfielder and people aren't noticing what you're doing and instead gassing up the goalie and brawler, you're probably doing a great job, because it's the role. Unfortunately, you show up and you're like, today I'm going to do everything and be the glue for my team, and then everyone's going to see the brawler and say, yeah, great barrier beam. But really, like, I think Peanut Enjoyer looked really nice, was kind of had a lot of coverage in places that they needed to, and got the ball to Laplation when it mattered. And Laplation was sat there in the enemy net, killing the Fool as God intended. And you know, they worked really well together, got it done, and going to be taking that first game.
Yeah. Absolutely agreed on that. Laplation, the lowest redirects in the entire game. And one thing as well, I think, just kind of an unmentioned statistic, Peanut Enjoyer with a very respectable 5+1 versus his brawler's 3+2. So actually more goals scored here by Peanut Enjoyer over than everyone else, which is probably why he ended up getting that MVP. But I think another story that we could see in the statistics here, 76 saves from the Fools versus 27 from Names AH, I think really speaks to the dividends of how many opportunities Names AH was really allowed, how many opportunities Names AH had to even make saves, let alone make shots, right? We see 35 shots coming out, which is more than either brawler of the enemy team. So just as much as Zoro was on the defense, Names AH really had a lot of space to play with. We saw that with a lot of these offensive sentries, right? I think I mentioned at one point in the game, it really felt like there was only one defensive sentry placed down like the entire game. And because of that, you know, we see Names AH with 7 goal participation, right? The highest on his team. He was able to take advantage of the space given to him and provide that extra kind of oomph to defend what typically can be a pretty huge wall in the Mako. So I think overall OSU really looking like, just honestly, like between Laplation finding the KOs, finding the damage, between Peanut and Joyer kind of being that invisible force that you talked about, and between Names AH utilizing all that space given to him, it really feels like OSU feels cohesive. They feel like a team that's been playing together despite their recent roster swaps here in the offseason. So really excited to see this team in action again here in game number 2. And quite frankly, OSU is looking like the better team. I'm going to say it. OSU is looking like the stronger team here in this matchup, and it's really going to be up to SLU to fight against that narrative.
Yeah, definitely. But next map, we are moving on to Taiko Temple. An adrenaline rush, explosive entrance start. The ad rush, I think, is going to benefit OSU a lot. We saw them get a lot of KOs that last game, a lot of power plays, doing really, really well. But we are seeing SLU show up with Mako X Julie, and I think this map is way more conducive to the double brawler formula than most others. Like, you can pull it here and Night Market, and anywhere else it's really tough to do successfully. So I think this is looking like a great team comp for SLU. I think I still have to favor the OSU comp with that Asher and Estelle forward pair. I really like that. But this time we're seeing an Atlas. In last game, like you mentioned, the IME just had so much room to play offense the whole time, and that's kind of how the pick succeeds. And how you beat it is you have to suffocate it. But SLU is playing this team comp that sits back and is super passive. Now we have a passive Atlas coming out, and I have to wonder if that will affect their game plan or how much pressure they're able to put out in this game.
Yeah, really. I absolutely agree with your assessment. Unless Names AH is able to find something like the missile propulsion, the midfield presence from this Atlas is not going to be very high unless we see some very aggressive positioning from Names AH, which it seems like we are seeing a little bit of already. Walking up to the midfield line here just to send out that primary. That being said, first adrenaline proc of the day going the way of SLU. That being said, first goalie barrier actually going to be taken here in the reverse power play.
Yep, that is one, but SLU able to pick up that one right there. Gonna be nice. Going for a dash punch stun on Names AH. I think hoping to get, or to funnel the core through the corner, get something off of that. But now, like you said, Names AH is just pushing up on the offense, kind of getting up in the midfield line. Has strike shot, not even mom boots, just running around with it. But Grant OS with a big KO. Gets KO. The adrenaline rush has stopped. Names AH actually pulling up with the adrenaline rush. Getting active, but unfortunately unable to score. Stopped by the Fool. But Spirit Crab looking a little low. Laplation on the case already. And that's going to be another proc right there. Oh my god.
This is going to be a good game. Already we're seeing the Atlas proc running up. Hero that we never knew we needed is right now the X going to be assisting here, and unfortunately the strike shot mind bug has entered the brain of the Fool, and we see unfortunately not enough strike timing, not enough strike cooldown to actually get the core before it went past him. So point number 1 going the way here of OSU.
Yep, there's a reason Atlas is incredibly slow. Same thing with X, is that these characters, you do not want to see them with 60% extra movement speed. Look at this guy skate. He is just moving around. That's both barriers going to SLU immediately off one power play, one adrenaline rush proc, and sometimes that's all you need. It is so scary to play against, and I think that we're going to be seeing, again, both teams looking for a lot of KOs. That's really the win condition for both of them here. Whichever team gets the KO first is just going to have a way easier point.
Yeah, absolutely right. You're going to have those reduced cooldowns. You're going to have that extra move speed to maneuver and pass around both melee goalies here in the game, as right now Celestial Intervention does come down, saving the life of Laplation, as Laplation survives one gambit only to face the might of Grant OS here. And now Mako drums come down drum base as we enter overtime here. But unfortunately, there's going to be a scoring opportunity here. Good clear from the Fool, though. Once again, gives the opportunity to Grant OS to potentially score. But an unfortunate Tycho bounce means that all of a sudden it's going in the favor of OSU. And that they capitalize upon. An excellent pass splitter, giving a crazy angle for Peanut Enjoyer to score on. And that's going to be a 2-0 lead here, despite the adrenaline rushes of SLU.
Yeah, I really like the synergy coming out from OSU there, where Laplation dropped the Pap Splitter and Peanut Enjoyer just capitalized on it immediately. And you sit there and you're like, if I'm Asher in that situation, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna press ult. This is gonna be big. We can get something done here. But Peanut Enjoyer with the awareness to get that was really nice to see, and I really appreciate that. Anyway, this point, different point. We were seeing Grant OS get his teeth kicked in, unfortunately. Still here, still on the field, able to get unstaggered at the perfect moment, but the vultures are really on him. Same with Laplation, and these brawlers are just suffering out here.
Yeah, and right now we see the Fool walking up, potentially wanting to use this core flip here aggressively. Actually steals the orb of his brawler, which might cost Spirit Crab his life. No, it's actually going to be Laplation taking a trip on the Tycho train here as we enter overtime. An excellent strike ward, one out of nowhere from Spirit Crab. So I'm going to replay on that. That guy feels like that guy's strike box grew 2 sizes today. he won that strike ward. That looked weird. I actually need to look back at that one. That was crazy.
Yeah, pulling it with his heels.
Yeah.
Scraping it all together. But here we see a devious corner pressure coming out from Laplation with the Pap Splitter. Airship in the wings coming out. And though SOU scored the last point, trying to make a comeback, things are looking pretty icky for them, as that's a lot of pressure coming out, but a couple CDs being dropped by Peanut Enjoyer, by Laplation, means that things are going to be a little bit nicer. I'm pretty sure that is all of the Asher CDs done, down and out, and now Spirit Crab on the defense, kind of fulfilling this midfield role, is scrapping there, winning these strike wars and getting it done. Big flip on the defense there, able to get it out, and Grant OS trying to push up, is able to get one barrier. Spirit Crab coming to cover the top side, hoping to get 2, but we see good defense coming out from Names AH and Peanut Enjoyer, able to hold on to this and get a lot of damage onto Spirit Crab. SOU is still holding on, but OSU just isn't relenting yet.
Yeah, and right now, Laplation potentially with another opportunity to score. The Tycho trade does not claim the life of Grant OS, who finds himself next to a conveniently placed orb. That being said, no flip to his name as he's forced to blow it just for self-preservation here. Peanut Enjoyer, an excellent interception here, essentially giving the space to OSU that they need. Flame Flare not going to find the value that Spirit Crab wants right now. Flip comes out from the Fool. Peanut Enjoyer once again tries to snipe it away with a piercing shot, but nothing found just quite yet. Crystal Thorns as well, adding that extra redirect that's going to be needed. Names AH turn now to play midfield, as excellent Celestial Intervention actually saves the life of Laplation, and Peanut Enjoyer on the flip side, bottom side of the map here, able to find the perfect piercing shot here, and OSU claiming heated first set here on game number 2.
Yeah. Very, very back and forth, but we have just gotten into an insane game-changing draft for this start, the Adrenaline Rush. We see first pick Spark of Focus, really interesting, but going for that Spark scaling early. I'm looking at stuff like 1-2 Punch, Perfect Form, Heavy Impact. Heavy Impact going straight to the Fool, going to be more damage. 1-2 Punch on Atlas, of course. Ton of core speed for the goalie, going to be really nice. But kind of a sleeper pick for this Adrenaline Rush start. You can just go smite someone. Perfect Form going straight to Spirit Crab. Pretty scary. One Julie ult is going to refresh almost all those cooldowns immediately.
Yeah.
And Super Surge onto Laplation. Interesting pick, but curious to see if that extra damage will be useful. But just a lot of damage. That is a violent draft for this violent game coming out right now.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Zoro for for the Fool for having the best Centauro build you possibly could have on set number 2. As right now, that being said, Laplation, Striker after Striker win, is going to open up the net here for the side of SLU. Oh, and boom goes the dynamite. That guy bounced off the Taiko drum. An excellent save here coming from the defensive duo of SLU. And now the Fool has Flip to work with. Going to be pretty comfortable in this situation. Doesn't even need a Alexa, just simply win the strike war. Good piercing shot. Makes things look a little bit scary, but the Celestial intervention is a bit too late now. Flip comes out from Peanut Enjoyer, just trying to buy a little bit of time here for his goalie. Unfortunately, not going to mean much as we get an overtime. The dash punch actually going to be blocked away by the piercing shot of Peanut Enjoyer now. And now, again, Laplation, opportunity to score if the core gets to him. He's in prime position. Unfortunately, the core not really going this way, but an unfortunate strike from Grant OS. Too many options all of a sudden given to Peanut Enjoyer, and Peanut Enjoyer takes advantage of it. An excellent blink in, gonna take that first goal of the set.
Yeah, really well done by Peanut Enjoyer. Was able to just punish that clear, stop Grant OS from getting anything done, and is now suffering dearly for his transgressions against SOU, getting absolutely crunched by the X Maximus, but able to recover, grab some orbs, survive, and that's kind of the name of the game, is just working on self-preservation, sticking around, because one KO goes down, and that's a different game you're playing, where the enemy team has 60% extra move speed and you are getting suffocated by it.
Yeah, I really, really love the teamwork right now coming out from OSU, utilizing back passes. It really feels like they've got it just feels like they have the stronger triangle now, so to speak, right now. It really feels like...
Oh.
Okay, well, a stronger triangles unfortunately needs 3 points, and right now both teams find themselves third pointless, as both brawlers going to be taken off the pitch, and Grant OS might be soon to follow here in overtime. Laplation making his way over. Dash punch not going to stop an aggressive Asher from getting her way, but Stagger Regen finally out. Fool not able to defend again against the defense here of Laplation. A good primer. It's going to send the core back and forth here as we get into overtime. Core goes topside Spirit Crab with an unsuccessful dash punch here against Names AH. And whoa! Cosmic Expanse sends that right in. The 1-2 punch, giving some jump scare core speed. That's all that it's going to take here for Names AH to take the second goal of the set.
Yeah, wow. The Cosmos send their regards as they shoot that thing 1 million miles per hour into the sun. But Grant OS, with the bell ringer of a lifetime, able to get both barriers, kind of slip it right into the little pocket right there. Laplation going for a similar position, but the Fool able to block it with the foreflip. And now, bit of a scary strike coming out from Names AH, but him and Peanut Enjoyer holding it down here and just kind of forcing SOU onto their side into this corner. And it looks like they just can't do anything about it, because there's so much. There are 3 melee characters on Taiko Temple where there's not a lot of places to walk. They can cover things pretty easily, but the moment it gets out of their hands, it's just completely free reign for OSU. However, Grant OS, with a great bull rush into strike, is going to be slipping it right by Peanut Enjoyer into the one hole that they have in their coverage on the defense. So, looking good from them, but just like last set, they were able to win 1 point and then lost the third. They're going to have to win 2 more if they want to tie this game up.
Yeah, and they are well on their way to that. One dash punch going to be found here from Spirit Crab. Second dash not going to find that final goal barrier, though. And good passing plays. Ooh, good snipe. Ooh, good strike shot intercepted. Going to be immediately answered with a goal barrier coming out from Names AH. Now, the Fool in a 1v1 versus Peanut Enjoyer has to win this 50-50, but instead actually elects to choose patience before the 50-50 could come into fruition. Now, Grant OS here, repping his Mag Souls, going to find that speed with a Mako drum, eventually going to find a KO as well here on to the side of OSU. Now, Laplation forced to play midfielder here in this situation, not going to be the defense that OSU wants right now, is Grant OS now playing Brawler to cover for Spirit Crab, and you know, he just decides, hey, I'm going to take this point myself. You go heal up by getting that point and just starting a new round.
Yep, sitting down, rolling up the sleeves, and getting to work on some X-Lore activity. Just saying, like, hey, don't worry, I've got this one, and got it he did. Really, I feel like Grant OS has been showing up this set, getting that crucial double barrier in the first point that SLU won, and going crazy on the score of that last one. We see the Fool and Spirit Crab with 2 core flips. Going to be really useful. Just the energy economy is so in their favor. Big clear coming out from the Fool. Other flip being burned, trading with names AH. But a KO is going to be found shot dead by the astral projection. And all of a sudden, things are looking good for OSU.
Yeah, and Grant OS potentially not long for this world. Good evade, though, on Laplacian's secondary. Making sure that he does not share the same fate as Spirit Crab, who once again finds himself taking half a minute of a breather here, but Fool not too long for this world as well. Oh no! SLU! Where in the world is SLU? They just went and took a vacation, it felt like, as they all just get sniped off the map, and that's going to be the second set. Going over to OSU. What just happened?
Where in the world is SLU? who took him away? Big ace coming out, and a great reward of missile prop. We've been seeing these primaries, dome people already. And now with missile prop, more range, more power. That's a huge threat. Deadeye being scooped up by the Fool again. Kind of just getting the same build he had last game. That's going to be nice. A second spark going to Peanut Enjoyer, which is pretty significant. That is focus and resilience. The resilience especially being nice into all the damage that the Fool is trying to build up. Spirit Crab picked up Fight or Flight and has just been moving. I mean, look at him. This guy's fast.
Yeah.
And that's pretty scary to deal with. Peak performance on Grant OS as well. And now these melee characters picking up this move speed. Going to be really nice to see. Could be their chance to bring this game back, because right now they are down 0-2 and need a little bit of a big KO onto Laplacian here. Unfortunately stopped by the Atlas healing, but things are looking tough for SLU. It's do or die time right now.
Yeah. Right now as well, yeah, like you mentioned, the mobility on this Juliet and X with peak performance, nothing to scoff at, and it's going to be more than enough to have SX actually have more move speed than any other character in the game. Just right now, Laplacian finding himself on in pound sand population him. But right now, the flip ending this offensive play as we get into overtime. The bull rush actually going to counteract Dave's age, and that looks so weird. But regardless, side of OSU recover, able to get 1 goalie barrier, able to make it 2 here. Laplacian, striker win after striker win into the barrier beam, and bada bing, bada boom, pow, takes the core past all 3 members of SLU and safely secures point number 1 in potentially a 6-set streak for the side of OSU.
Yeah, just really well played there. That was a little bit of some astronomics coming out from Laplacian. Someone's been studying up Strike War after Strike War with all this extra size into a big barrier beam to close it out. And another KO. Laplacian just kind of going crazy, get the Atlas healing to try and keep the streak going with this Adrenaline Rush. But Peanut Enjoyer going to be blinking into that corner, slipping it right through, and OSU is on match point. Like you said, almost completing the 6th streak go around.
Yeah. Here on series point even for a perfect KO, and that's going to be Spirit Crab once again in a familiar penalty box position. Laplacian now, barrier beam comes out, not going to be enough to take the goal against the Fool, who has an amazing clear to open up here this goalie box. That being said, Laplacian once again on the prowl. The Strike Shock Bug almost claims another goalie barrier, but it's actually going to be defended away. The Dash Punch expertly cleared around, but it's time for Grant OS to make his appearance. Unfortunately, the flip not going to find the pressure that he needs. Now Laplacian looking to win this 1v1 situation, which he does with the assistance of a core flip. Barrier beam now looking very scary. The piercing shots there, but Spirit Crab able to assist the goalie here. As now the drum and bass come out. Flip comes out. Nothing Zora could do. Too many angles to cover. And that's just going to be a clean series sweep coming around. Oh, the synchronized emotes to end it out as well. OSU looking phenomenal here in this series and taking a well-deserved series win.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great performance coming out from all three. The team synergy we saw in the emote flash is absolutely there. Even though they have a new member, it's like nothing has changed. Just in, out, like a well-oiled machine, like a whale-oiled machine, I almost said. And they are just moving through like a machine. Getting down on, again, a crazy week 2 match. Gunning down this team that they've beat before, showing that they're still on top, beating them again, and I'm really impressed with this team, especially Laplation, who again, it was the kind of question mark, the new member, didn't really know how they would fit into the team or if they would be able to pull it off, but as we can see, they absolutely did.
Absolutely. Laplation, again, very, very good performance. 3 KOs to his name, 3 goals, 7 goal participation, actually. Playing a more supportive role in the scoring department. Tapina enjoys 5+1, but that's a repeat of last game, if I recall correctly. So excellent force here from the forward duo of OSU. And Names AH, we were wondering when he picked that Atlas, hey, are they going to have that same forward pressure? And on the scoring end, no. They didn't match that, but it definitely felt like they had it in terms of damage. This is a 20k damage Atlas coming out, actually out damaging Spirit Crab's Juliet with perfect form. Able to get 1 goal to himself. We saw that that Cosmic Expanse, giving that core speed for that one funny goal there, but he was absolutely playing aggressively on the midfield line. We saw a lot of times where he walked up to play that pseudo midfield thing and just keep Zora under pressure, or the Fool under pressure, and it really felt like OSU did do their homework on how to counteract the game plan here coming out from SLU, and it really feels like it did pay off. No sets dropped basically the entire, no sets dropped the entire series. I believe 6 goals dropped total in the entire series. So really, hats off to OSU. They're looking phenomenal. They're looking like a team to beat, and they definitely have earned their 3rd seed here in CCL. So that's going to be really that's going to be a powerhouse team to watch out for, I think, coming into the latter half of the season and into playoffs. So GG's to everyone all around. Well played. We had another great day of the CCL, but believe that's going to be it here from us here at Bestie and Slot. Do you have any parting words for the audience, Yoshi 64?
Yeah, you're gonna wanna eat well, sleep well, drink lots of water, and play a lot of Asher, and just start killing people. You know, just it's time to get bored and start killing people. You know, so
Agreed.
that's
Words to live by.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I have for all of you. It's gonna be a nice week of CCL next week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think we're done. To all you collegiate strikers, happy Valentine's Day. Make sure that you go find your special someone out there in the queues. You know, your Magsels to your midfielder or something like that. I couldn't think of one,
Yep.
so I'm gonna leave on that lazy one. All right, well, that's gonna be it from me and Yoshi. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Peace out.